amount.
I tried to base my free kick on Ronaldo, hit the ball by the valve and it moves. So what do you do? Top corner, top bins.
The name knuckleball comes from a baseball pitch held with the knuckles rather than the fingertips, which doesn't spin as it travels. Now, no ball is a perfect sphere, so as it travels, it creates ever-changing pockets of turbulent air, causing that unpredictable movement. Brazilian free-kick specialist Juninho Pernambucano wasn't the first player to do it, but he did perfect it, scoring 77 free-kicks over his career, more than anyone else. He was inspired by 90s midfielder Marcelinho Carioca and a guy called Didi, who was hitting knuckleballs in the 50s and 60s. Brazilians call it the dry leaf, because the ball looks like a leaf that gets blown around in the wind this way and that. So how do you do it? The key point is to hit the ball head-on, usually with a straighter run-up. It's a punch-like shot and, crucially, as short a contact time as possible so the ball doesn't spin. Some people think players hit the valve to affect the air inside the ball. That's not the reason. It's because the part of the ball around the valve is more rigid, helping to shorten that contact time. Remember the David Luiz beauty against Colombia in the 2014 World Cup? We don't really see knuckleballs anymore. Why? Because players are being told not to shoot from dead ball situations because the XG is so low. In fact, as Opta shows here, since the 08-09 season, there's been a 10% reduction in players shooting from free kicks in the Premier League. In 23-24, a record low of 11 free kicks found the back of the net. And the knuckleball, by its very nature, is imprecise, which is why it's becoming a thing of the past.
Good morning. 6 minutes past 6 o'clock, Thursdays amongst us. How are we out there? This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark Rewards event. Save up to £500 on thousands of cars. I'm Alan Brazil this morning alongside a man who's due a present.
That's scandalous. Hey, I'll remember that. Wooden spoon. Ah. Do you know what? At least we beat Italy. I watched the game.
He improved.
Do you know, we hadn't won a game for 3 years.
Find it hard.
I found it hard. But didn't have to play well against Italy, and I was pleased.
What competition, by the way?
Great, wasn't it?
Oh. So, by the way, Nick, our newsreader, has just presented Dino with 3 wooden spoons.
See, straight away, anti-Welsh.
Well, I've
been in there 30 seconds.
I didn't want to say that.
Isn't it? They don't say anti-Scotland or anti-Ireland.
Ed's on about Welsh rabbits as well. I was there, but I can't remember.
Is he there, Ed?
He is.
I'm surprised he's not being handcuffed by the RSPCA.
He was at it again, wasn't it, the day I missed at Cheltenham?
Al, can you remember when he ran the rabbit?
Well, we've got to be careful what we say, Dino, because
you got to be
I've had
careful.
a lot of hate mail.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you? You've had hate mail?
Yeah. Mr. Bug or something.
It's all
Bugs, someone.
Bugs Bunny. This is alarming for you because you weren't there. Because, by the way, your powers of recovery have gone to another level. You are Lazarus.
I'm getting there. I'm not 100%, but I'm getting there.
It's like recovery of the year. It's either that skier, the woman skier who went down the...
Lindsay Vonn
with the ACL.
She copped it the following day, didn't she?
She nearly had to have her leg off.
Yeah, well, that might be me soon.
Well, no, you've recovered. You're all right today. You look completely different to when last time I seen you. Yeah, last time I seen you, you were in that mobility lift, trying to get you up them stairs.
That is not a mobility lift.
What is it?
It's a lift.
Is it?
It's a lift.
Anyway, back to the rabbits that Ed run over.
Yeah.
You won't believe what he said. The next day when you were ill, we were in the car, and he just come out of the blue. He went, I've always had problems with rabbits. Always. Even when I was a kid. I had 2 rabbits. I walked to school, and when I come back, they'd vanished. Both rabbits gone. I said, what happened?
No decent fencing?
No, this is coming next. You won't believe what's coming next. Yeah. I said, what happened to them? He went, my mum and dad ate them.
No.
I went, ate the rabbits? Yeah.
No.
Honest to God, that's what he said to me.
Was he serious?
I think so, yeah. He's serious. He's nodding his head. There he is, look, nodding his head. He's serious.
Little rabbit.
Imagine that, though.
I've got loads of them in my garden. I mean, loads. I said Joe was going to put some little flowers in all this. No. It's a little bit cold in the morning still. Do not put summer, spring. Daffodils are all right, but not the little, I forget what they're called, little things. It says if Jack Frost don't get them, the wabbits will get them.
Well, I don't think
Ed, you don't fancy a weekend at mine and getting rid of a few, do you?
I don't think we should say anymore, Al.
No.
Because then I know what's coming next. You're going to try and get rid of your rabbits somehow. Get Ed's mum and dad over your house.
I like them, but they make a hell of a mess. I'm not.
I like rabbits.
Yeah. Right, another huge night of Champions League action yesterday. Liverpool were on fire. I enjoyed the football last night. I really did. Against Galatasaray, beating them 4-0. Plenty of positive to take for Spurs. Picked up the first win under Tudor, but not quite enough to get them through against Atleti. But the biggest story of the night came from the Camp Nou. Do you know what? I really enjoyed that first half.
Brilliant.
At half-time, I'm thinking, well, where's this going to go?
Yeah, when you get to the latter stages of these tournaments, it's like, for me, it's who's got the most special players, who can turn the game.
I said, I'm not blowing trumpets here, but I said, everyone was talking about, it's got to be an English club gets the final and wins it. I'm like, hold on a minute. We're soon out of the league, the league formats. These teams peak when it comes to, quarterfinals, semi-finals, the likes of PSG. Says, don't write them off. They're not playing great at the moment. Don't write them off at your peril.
Yeah, I mean...
They're all coming good now.
And they set up to win the Champions League, don't they? PSG don't set up to win the French League. They set up to win the Champions. That's what their aim is at the start.
But going back to Newcastle, I thought first half was great. Yeah. They really said, stuff the Nou Camp, we're taking this game to you. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was open game, wasn't it? End to end. The scoreline really don't tell the true story of what happened. But
my worry is they looked a little bit cream crackered Newcastle towards the end. And they've got Sunderland coming up the weekend, haven't they?
Yeah, and they sat on 42 points, which is not enough, really.
Yeah.
But I keep saying it, and no one likes to hear it because they don't like the way he left the club. They're missing Isaac.
Yeah.
£130 million centre forward. I think he was involved in 27 goals last season.
Yeah. But he'll be twiddling his thumbs thinking, all right, he'll look at his bank account and smile. But he'll be thinking, am I enjoying myself at the moment? No, I'm not.
Well, he's a bit of a puzzle, really, because he's gone to Liverpool. He knew he was leaving. And then all of a sudden he gets to Liverpool and he's giving him half an hour saying he's not fit yet. What have you been doing then? Pre-season? You've been honest. You must have had a fitness coach with you. Surely you've got to get yourself up to speed so you hit the ground running.
Yeah.
So he started off bad and then got injured, didn't he? Unluckily, he got injured, and he's never really the wasted season.
Well, we're going to hear from Eddie Howe, but just before I do, Barcelona, though, they're clinical, aren't they? When they get a chance, you know, they just... what's his name?
Rafinha.
He was the one at Leeds, wasn't he?
Yeah.
What a good player.
And
his goal, when he went to shoot, dummied and just stroked it in.
Some of the
beautiful
assists for the goals.
Yamal, great. Look,
what a
at the end of the
is.
day, you can score against it. Wouldn't surprise me if Barca get done on the counter in a semi-final final. But great to watch. Really enjoyed it. But Newcastle got at them. There's no doubt about it.
Did he look at the Barcelona team and think they all look the same shape?
Yeah, and also I'm like, I didn't know some of them. I'm like,
yeah, like little footballers
kids coming through.
Yeah,
good
players. That Lamal, what a player he is.
I love him. Love him.
His assist for the goal when he's threaded it through. I mean, they're just class players, aren't they?
Yeah. So after the game, Eddie Howe tried to make sense of, well, he called it a second half collapse.
Yeah, I think our performance dropped. I think that was quite clear. You can't concede that the first 4 goals. You can't concede. The 2 set plays are sort of unforgivable to a degree because you know how good they are in other aspects of their play. So to concede from 2 sort of regulation, 1 free kick, 1 corner, that can't happen if you're going to progress. And as I said, I think psychologically we never recovered from the moment at half-time for whatever reason that was. Whether we felt that we should have had a penalty the other end, I don't know. But there was certainly a dip in our performance.
So I had a bit of telly on and talkSPORT on. I heard Adrian at the end of the game, and he was scathing, wasn't he, about Liverpool and Eddie. And I'm like, hold on, Adrian, hold on. You know, because, you know, I was listening very carefully last night. I was on my own, just listening to all the games, flicking across. And I just felt at half-time, I'm like, what way is this going to go? If Newcastle sneak get their noses in front, can they hold on? You know, that's how close I thought it was at half-time. They got battered in the end. But it wasn't as bad as what people are making out. As you said earlier, you know, that scoreline was not...
No.
And it was not a true image of the game for me.
What I would say is Barcelona's fullbacks, if you remember the first game at Newcastle when Harvey Barnes got inside the fullback far post, both fullbacks for me can't defend.
Yeah.
And it'll stop them winning the Champions League.
Well, but that's it. That's where you can get at Barcelona.
Yeah.
For all the brilliance, the flair, the glamour, the crowd, if you get at them, they concede. Even at home, they do concede.
Well, obviously, I've backed Arsenal, by the way, to win the quadruple, 100 to 1.
Really?
Well, I had a pound on.
Wow.
At 100 to 1, ages ago. I don't think they'll do it, but they're going to give it a go. They're still in all of them. I think they'll win the Champions League.
They had a win last night, don't they? And Arsenal have got to go there in the Cup. I think maybe the City game at the weekend, I've got a funny feeling this game, Pep's got to win this, I think. Or Pep, you know, I'm not saying this is, right, if I don't win it, I'm off. But I'm beginning to think about Pep's future. Is he going to stay? He says he's rebuilding a new side. Will he stay? I hope he does. But he doesn't look the same person to me. And I think he'll go all out to win at the weekend. I think it could be a great game. Great final.
Did you hear his interview yesterday?
Yeah.
It's hilarious. It's another technique. I used to like, if we lost, when I was managing, if we lost, and I knew they were all there with their microphones, and I thought, once they ask me one question, I'm just going to keep talking.
Oh, I think, and I think he speeds up as well.
He said,
what did he say?
He went, Champions League, Champions League. I couldn't understand a word he said apart from about 8 Champions League.
It doesn't like rabbits. What? Right. There you go. So, Newcastle fans, and there's plenty of you, get your calls in this morning, 03717 223344. If you were at the game last night or you were over there in the city, well, just how bad was it at second half? What were you thinking at half-time? That's what I want to know. What were you thinking at half-time? We can beat these. Where'd you go from here? Sunderland coming up next is how the man to take you forward. Come and tell us this morning.
I mean, many notes of caution coming in at this stage. Sam, Thierry Henry, he was saying, I was there when Rooney did it, and when someone told me he was going to have the career that he had, I would have said, well, maybe. He says, it's a challenge not just for Arsenal, but for English football. Let's not get overexcited. I mean, there's an element of, hang on, let's just be careful with this boy.
Yeah, I mean, you should be careful with all young players. I mean, ironically, they've got another kid coming through in the under-13s called Luis Moniz, who's potentially even better than Max Dellman. They've got a conveyor belt of these kids coming out of Arsenal for some reason or another. But insofar as he is concerned, listen, he is. If they can shut out the background noise, I mean, I saw his father having a go at a coach, and it seems to me that there's a very strong family unit, as there was a strong family unit around Jude Bellingham.
Yeah.
So if you can get the right people around you, the biggest challenge for this kid is that he is not distracted from his football and does not have the wrong voices around him that are creating chaos between him and the club, him and opportunities commercially, and all that sort of stuff. Get him wrapped around the right sort of people. He's in a big club. One of the best things of being a good player in a big club is that big clubs don't... If you're a young player, it's a superstar in a smaller club. I had it with Victor Moses. I had it with other players that were really significant players. And there's always the bigger clubs are circling around. There ain't many bigger clubs than Arsenal. So with due respect, they've got him in the right space because they're a big football club. So there's no necessity for him to leave that football club. I know we've seen Cole Palmer leave at early stage in his development to go to Chelsea because he couldn't get the opportunities.
Yeah.
Downward's already...
Summer in the city, back of my neck getting dirt and gritty. Bend down, isn't it a pity? Doesn't seem to be a shadow in the city. All around, people looking half dead, walking on the sidewalk harder than a match here. But at night it's a different world. Go out and find a girl. Come on and dance all night. Despite the heat, it'll be alright. And babe, Don't you know it's a pity the days can't be like the nights in the summer, in the city, in the summer, in the city.
Brilliant. talkSPORT Breakfast. Dean, the storyteller, with Maid Saunders. Yeah, that was the Love and Spoonful. Do you remember them? Do you know you maybe? No, you might do.
No, I can't remember that.
Someone in the city, but why are we playing it this morning? Well, unless you've been living under a rock yesterday. It was nice, glorious, with temperatures soaring to around 20 degrees. Warmest day of the year so far in West London, and even in Dino's beloved West Wales, it got up to 12. Dino, did you... you get nice weather in Wales, don't you?
Yeah. By the way, here's Katie. Can you hear her coming in?
I hear her.
Yeah, you just hear her.
Trouble if it's... Well, we're back to rabbits again, aren't we?
Oh, she's changed, Katie. Do you remember when she used to come in and go, morning, gentlemen?
Do you know what it is? It's
just go move your coffee.
Do you know
move your phone?
It's them private.
I know you now.
It's the private girls' schools. That's what it is.
Was you? I bet you never knew this. Did you know Katie played hockey for England
for
5 years?
Yeah, I did.
And
Yeah,
the ball
Dino didn't.
Split her head open with the ball. And she
I
had to
didn't
retire.
know that.
Yes, I had a big hockey accident, so that's why I stopped playing.
Yeah, I did. Well, you're a goalie.
Was you a
or-
striker?
Striker, centre forward, yeah.
Yeah, see. Only allowed... We should only let strikers in this room. No defenders. Anybody can play at the back, Al, can't they?
I know.
You know, all the cash is up the other end of the pitch.
Absolutely.
Skill and cash, it comes together.
Yeah.
Right, Katie. Let's take a wee look at the back pages this morning, shall we?
Back page review on talkSPORT.
Yes, so lots of the back pages this morning filled with, well, actually quite sad photos of Anthony Gordon, head and hands, Geordie Saw on the back page, The Mirror, that's probably my favourite headline. Omo, pictures of Mo Salah, penalty missed for Salah, but then he fired in a stunner as Liverpool go through to the next round. Oh no, for Eddie Howe's on the back page of The Sun. Shot in the arm for Slot is on the back page of The Times, Seven and Hell.
He was lively in the touchline, wasn't he?
He was.
Slot.
They needed that, though, last night, didn't they? So.
Yeah. Did you notice the crowd, Al? I think they took offence to... A few people booed last week when they got off the pitch. And I think the fans... It doesn't happen at Liverpool. And I think some of the fans have gone like, hey, we're not having that. We're not being known as one of them clubs.
Yeah.
So they all got behind the team. It was brilliant.
As for Newcastle, a night to forget, Dino.
Well, it's great. The scoreline makes it look shocking. We were just chatting about
The
it.
second half, though, was bad for Newcastle.
Yeah.
Well, they chase in games and they leave gaps. And obviously, I think Barcelona are the same. I think they'll let goals in. I think the two fullbacks for Barcelona will cost them the Champions League. I don't think they can win it with those two fullbacks.
Okay. Explain why, elaborate.
They make mistakes. They ball watch. It's like under 18 fullbacks playing for Barcelona, for me. Good going forward.
See too many goals as well.
Yeah.
Look at the stats.
Yeah.
Yeah. As for Spurs, signs of hope for them. Spirited Spurs out but proud on the back page of The Mirror.
Yeah, well, I mean, Doggy was back last night and Bergveld, wasn't he? They were back fit. They've got some players coming back. I've always said, you know, there's Danzo, Polinia, Kulusevski, Maddison, Richarlison's not well, Gallagher, Bentancur, Bissouma, Spence. They've had so many injuries. I don't care what you say, it costs you points. And if they can get them all back during this international break, I think Spurs will be fine.
Well, the big one's this weekend, isn't it? Forest.
Yeah.
In London. That's a massive
game.
That is one of the biggest games for Spurs for a long time.
I think 37 points, Al, will keep you up. If you get 37, what are they on? 32? Spurs? I think they're on 32.
Spurs are currently on 30.
They're on 29. What?
30.
30. So that's two
So Nottingham
wins
Forest
and
on
a draw.
29. So
Yeah. West Ham look like the favourites to get relegated with...
even though they're level on points with Nottingham Forest.
Well, if you look at the percentage stats, I'm not that I'm a lover of stats, they look like they got the most difficult running probably. So, I don't know. It's
Goal
this
difference
game-
slightly worse as well. West
Yeah,
Ham.
their goal difference is minus. Is it minus 19? Something like that.
Yeah.
But
minus
this
15.
game at the weekend, Forest Spurs,
No,
massive.
the four worse off than Forest.
Yeah, so it's going to be touch and go.
As for this other story in the back page of The Sun, Kasper Schmeichel in career fear. So Kasper Schmeichel fears his career is over after revealing he faces 2 operations on his horrific shoulder injury. Kasper Schmeichel is out of contract at Celtic at the end of the season and reveals he may need a year of rehab which is going to be a real shame if he has to end his career.
He's had a great career, hasn't he?
Mm.
You know, you could argue
He's 39
his
now.
dad or him. Yeah, come on.
But I can't imagine diving when you've... He must have dislocated his shoulders. He must have. And for people who've dislocated his shoulder, normally...
That's a bad one.
You know the window above your head, trying to lift the catch up? That movement of lifting the catch up is what kills them.
Well, there you go. He goes, it's a torn bicep. I've torn the rotator cuff, which I've done, and it's so sore. Dislocated the shoulder and torn the labrum and torn everything.
Why have you got to top his injury, Katie?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Why can't
It's
you
only
just let him have a torn... Why have you got to say mine's
I am
worse?
definitely not trying to compete with Kasper Schmeichel.
You know, of all the injuries he had, Brian Robson told me dislocating the shoulder was the worst one.
Yeah.
Kept popping back out, and he kept having to put it. He said it was hell.
Imagine being a goalkeeper, though. Is it both arms? Both shoulders?
Well, he says he's torn everything here.
Oh,
Torn bicep, torn rotator cuff, dislocated the shoulder. It feels as though, 2 operations as well for a horrific shoulder injury. But it's got me thinking this morning, where does he rank in brilliant Premier League goalkeepers that we've seen?
I suppose the high point was at Leicester, where that you couldn't score past that back four. Wes Morgan and Huth in front of him. Drinkwater and Kante in front of them. Okazaki, they were solid, weren't they? That Leicester team. And he had a great season. His dad, old man Schmeichel, he made himself so big. Yeah.
He really did. He made himself so big.
I don't think you had it when you played. Like, when you went clean through on the keeper,
Yeah.
they normally dived at your feet.
Yeah, but
So-
you know who didn't? Shilton.
Yeah,
You could drop a shoulder and go to put it in there, and he would not move until you hit the ball. He's brilliant, he was.
I think Peter Schmeichel was... I played with Schiltz at Derby. Peter Schmeichel was the first, when you went through the starfish, where he put his legs and his arms out wide to cover the width of the goal. And you had to try and slot the ball somewhere. And it takes you a few games, but I started trying to roll it through his legs, straight through his legs. But it's hard to... Because you want them to make the decision, the goalkeeper. Come and dive at my feet so I can go round you or slot it. But his dad was one of the best goalkeepers ever. It was difficult for him to live up to his dad.
Katie, we're going to do a lot more later because Dim Sum there's got the hump. He said, you were on with Dino today, you've got to break really early.
Who said that? Anti-Welsh.
Well, we've got some fun coming up for you at 6:45.
Dean will learn a little bit more about the lesser spotted elk. That's coming next. Oh dear. 6:28.
Ruben Amorim was a winning manager, but clearly not the right fit for Man United, irrespective of the fact he was a European winning manager because he won the Portuguese league.
Right.
So I'm kind of with Roy, but in the...
You're with Roy in a certain way. I mean, he's not doing anything to rule himself out of contention.
No, I know, but also what Roy's picture is trying to extrapolate it. And I know there's a lot of cachet around Steve Holland and so on and so forth, but he was part of the England setup that flattered to deceive, that didn't win anything when they could have done. So whilst he might be an excellent coach, we're still looking at a bunch of people, with respect to being Michael Carrick being an elite footballer, that as from a management point of view, have got what on their resume? So it's part of the conversation, not the only part of it. But if Carrick goes to the end of the season and United finish third, or even, dare I say it, catch City and finish second, then there's going to be a clamour of people suggesting that he's proven himself, that he's had 18, 19 games, and out of that 18, 19 games, or however many he's had, he's done X, Y, Z. I mean, they are far better for him being there, but that's because common sense has prevailed. You haven't got a manager that seems to want to riddle himself into cul-de-sacs and play a group of players that can't play the way he wants them to play. You've got a manager that's ultimately under no real pressure, because everyone thinks that United were... The pressure will come now. Now United are third. Now the pressure's now, because everyone's going to expect... United fans are going to go, you better finish inside the top 4 now, because you're there now.
But yeah, I take on board what Simon's saying, Martin, but if he secures Champions League football for United, what exactly is going to rule him out?
Yeah,
What's going to rule him
I get it. I do. Roy's a respected voice, and I do take the point that this group, pretty well the same group of players, finished quite low down the table.
It's not often you associate fan power with Chelsea Football Club, but one of the shining examples of it lies with a group called the Chelsea Pitch Owners. And they've proved to be the thorn in the side of owners past and present who've been dead set on moving stadiums to a larger, more lucrative piece of land. Essentially, the supporters group holds the freehold to the land on which Stamford Bridge sits. Former owner Ken Bates set it up at a time where some unruly property developers tried to evict the club from their ground. In order to prevent this, he established the CPO as a company that owned the pitch and offered the fans the chance to buy a share for £100. As well as that, they also own the rights to the name Chelsea Football Club, so if any owner wants to take them elsewhere, they can't be called Chelsea without the approval from the CPO. Now, in 2011, Roman Abramovich tried and failed to move them away from Stamford Bridge, and this has set a precedent for Todd Bowley and the current power brokers at Chelsea. They know any plan which involves moving from Stamford Bridge will require CPO approval from the now 13,000 fans who own it. There are fans who are concerned that if they stay at the bridge, they'll be left behind their domestic and European rivals who are moving to more commercially successful stadiums. But for the heritage and history lovers, Stamford Bridge is one of the iconic English stadiums, and to move away would be a grave mistake. It might not be as flashy as others, but stadiums like it have something about them that cannot be replaced. One thing's for sure, if Bowley wants to take Chelsea away from their home, he'll have to go through the CPO first.
Hugo, I can see him now shaking his head.
What is he? He's a poodle. What's it? Cross?
Cockapoo.
Is he?
Yeah, he's brilliant. Well, look, what do you want out of a dog? You want someone who's trustworthy around your kids and your grandkids, and he's brilliant like that. And his hearing is unbelievable. He hears anyone coming anywhere near my drive, he'll let you know.
Just thinking. Do you think, what do you want from your dog when you're going to pick a dog? Number one now, it's gone straight to the top of the list. Can the dog stay fit and play 48 games a season? Because if you go to the vet, you need a bank loan to go to the vet. It's a disgrace.
Well,
they charge what they want.
I know. Well, but you're in despair when they're in trouble.
So they've got you over a barrel because you got two options. We either put the dog down or we give it an operation. I know this woman, right? She got a Newfoundland puppy, and them big, huge black ones. When she got it home after she bought it, the dog had two dodgy hips.
Oh, dear.
So she had to get 2 hips done for the dog. How much do you think?
Well, right away, I'm thinking 500-600 quid.
12 grand each hip.
No.
24 grand. And because she didn't have any money, she took a loan out.
Oh, no.
Because she couldn't bring herself to...
Well, where did she buy the dog from?
I don't know. 12 grand each. Someone needs to do something about the vets, because you go in, if a dog goes in overnight, it's like 300 quid. You know, go for check its teeth, everything's bills. And you can't put them down because your heart sinks. So they prey on it.
Well, not all do, you know.
Not all of them. No. There's some good vets out there. Don't get me wrong, before Ofcom. Get on us.
So it's Newfoundlands, it's cockapoos, and it's rabbits. We've got to stay clear.
You just need a dog that stays fit.
Anyway, I can't wait. Rory McIlroy's defence of the Masters. God, this is 12 grand. Rory McIlroy's defence of the Masters gets underway in just 3 weeks today. And for the first time, we can drive down Magnolia Lane. I always thought it was Magnolia Drive me. I don't know what I'm... Because I heard them talk about in the telly the other day, Magnolia Lane. I thought you got that wrong. Well, obviously, I've got it wrong. But Rory can drive down there with his green jacket on. One of the great sporting traditions is a champions dinner at Augusta, where the returning champion hosts a dinner for all champions past with a menu of his choice. What would you have, do you know?
I think my menu of choice.
So start a main course. Forget the sweet. Start a main course.
Prawn cocktail. Fillet steak.
A bit of imagination, please.
No, it's just like your last meal, isn't it? The same thing. It's like your last meal at the Masters.
It's a celebration of where you're from.
All right. So we'll have Welsh rarebit.
Yeah.
We'll have some Welsh lamb. From
the Welsh cheese.
From the salt marshes. Do you know that?
Are they?
In North Wales, where the tide comes in.
Just watch that.
Salt marshes is where they graze, and it gives them a different flavour.
All right. You know,
You're allowed to say that.
It's on, yeah.
And, so that's why the Welsh lambs.
It has to be something Scottish, wouldn't it? Be smoked salmon.
Haggis.
Or haggis. Well, yeah, haggis certain times of the year, but certainly Loch Fyne smoked salmon, something like that, with some prawns from... Well, I was going to say Dublin Bay, but no. We'll have Scottish prawns from, Atlantic prawns.
Iron brew on the table.
Could do. A main course you'd have to have. Well, right away, I'm thinking it's got to be a nice Scottish fillet and a fillet of something like Goodman do a great Scottish fillet. Beautiful.
Inside the haggis,
a little bit drambuie on top.
Yeah. I could have cockles and lava bread and Welsh rarebit.
You don't like cockles?
I do. Cockles, yeah. I used to get them when I was living in Swansea. I used to walk through the market with my dad every day, because my dad played for Swansea, and all the market stalls give him fruit, give him fish and all that. And I used to go to the cockle store. Have you ever had lava bread?
I think I have.
Seaweed.
No, I haven't.
It's seaweed, mashed up seaweed.
Is it?
Yeah, you
we have
like it or you don't.
We have white pudding, black pudding, soda bread. We have soda bread, Irish and Scottish. Yeah, anyway, so Rory, what's he going to choose? Here we go. Oh, I tell you what, this is I'd never have got this. So this is, if you just joined us, this is Augusta, the champions dinner. Rory gets to pick. Well, he's chosen elk.
Elk?
Ernie elk, yeah. Elk, deer is his main course. The rest of the menu features tuna carpaccio, wagyu filet mignon or seared salmon, sticky toffee pudding. Hold on, Rory.
It's a wind up.
Where are you from, Rory? Here, come on.
Elk.
On.
Have you ever had elk?
No.
Where's he at elk?
It's in the Arctic, isn't it?
I just can't imagine Rory McIlroy eating that type of food. I would have thought he said, like Rory, I would have just thought he said like some Irish Bay prawns and
Dublin Bay
chips.
prawns, yeah.
He's good, yeah. But
what's up with you, Rory?
That's a reindeer, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Bambi.
I know.
Can't eat Bambi.
I know.
Shocking.
So speaking of posh dinner, there's only one man we could talk to. Oh, he knows all about this. Good morning to Rupert Botox Bell. Rupert, good morning.
Oh, I don't know. I was so peaceful the last 2 days of Cheltenham when you weren't alluding to whatever I'd done to me. But I tell you what, this is a very interesting dinner. There's not much Irish about it. The Irish just seems to, from a culinary point of view, has been beaten out of Rory McIlroy because he obviously eats in a lot of posh restaurants. Last year, I think he was living off elk, and that's why he got given a whole lot of elk to eat. So that's why he's.
It's very, very lean, I believe. It's a bit like venison, very lean compared to beef.
Yeah. Well, that's obviously.
And plus his favourite film is The Polar Express.
Well, obviously, and that's the distressed elk by the sound of thing that we've just heard in the background. But it's when you talk about Sandy Lyle had haggis on his menu,
yeah, fine,
and that confused a few of the Americans.
Good.
I'm not sure what Ian Woosnam had when he won the Masters, but I would pretty sure he'd have had Welsh lamb, because that has an international reputation. I know about lava bread, but for Rory McIlroy, sticky toffee pudding, that I think is pretty standard in Ireland. But if you look through the rest of the menu, absolutely nothing. But the key thing is the mouth-watering array of wines. Everything seems to retail at over $1,000 a
bottle.
Go
on, give me a couple. What was
right? Well, we've got a Chateau Lafite Rothschild.
Nice.
A Chateau d'Ypem, and then you've got a bottle of champagne. He's got something which is from his birthday in 1989. So you see he's done and obviously the cellar at Augusta is awash with some very expensive white wine, claret, champagne, you name it. And he's certainly tuck into that. And he's said Shane Lowry's helped him choose the menu. But the thing is, he can probably get away with it because most of the players, certainly the current ones, won't be drinking that much. I mean, if Ian Woosnam is no longer playing, I'm sure he might help by making sure some of it is drunk. But, most of them leave a pretty sober life, particularly 2 nights before the Masters. But
well, talking about the Masters, Rupert, I've been watching quite a bit of golf lately, and Rory had this back minor operation, didn't he? And he said he felt really good, especially off the tee. So, but he was a bit wayward in the Players' Championship, which obviously Sawgrass is brilliant, which a lot of people feel is the fifth is a major, really the fifth major. But he was nowhere near the leaderboard at the end. But he'll build up to this Masters, and I think he'll put out a great defence. I really do. It's a unique golf course, as you well know. It's a fantastic event. It's beautiful. Amen Corner. And I always thought, I just said to Dino, Rupert, I always thought it was Magnolia Drive, not Magnolia Lane.
I think it's Magnolia Drive, but I don't want to cross the producer if he wrote your script for that. But
no, but they said it on telly the other day as well, and I went, "Oh, you got that wrong. It's Magnolia Drive. I'm sure it is."
I've been down Magnolia Drive, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, we digress, but away from the culinary efforts of Rory McIlroy, where it's definitely posh-nosh for golfers. But going back to the players, remember he won that 12 months ago before going on to win the Masters. So I think he does need to find a bit more form, although he can relax now. There's not the pressure now on him. Like every year we'd be going, is he going to finally do it? Is he going to finally do it? And it scrambled him at times, sort of mentally coming into the week. Now, as he says, he can freewheel and sort of enjoy the whole experience. And hopefully will put up a very good... It will be. I mean, it looks a very... Justin Rose will be in good nick. He played all right last week, and it would be great to see him get it.
What about Matt Fitzpatrick? Flying?
Flying, although I wonder how much he's just ruining... taking the driver after Cam Young's brilliant drive on 18 that secured him the players, and then Fitzpatrick sort of couldn't go toe for toe. The most surprising collapse, I thought, was Ludwig Højbjerg, because he was cruising along, and then he made two holes on the back nine. His head just disappeared.
Yeah, he was driving the ball brilliant, wasn't he?
Yeah. And then suddenly it just disappears. And this has happened to him before. Suddenly golf is not quite as easy as it seems for the big Swedes. So,
Rupert, have you ordered? Have you sorted your accommodation out now for 2035 Bolton Ryder Cup?
No, not yet. They are talking,
let me just get this off my chest right away, Rupert. With the greatest respect to Bolton, are you having a laugh? A Ryder Cup in Bolton. Give us a break.
They had one in Newport.
Yeah, they did. And I'll tell you why. The Ryder Cup, we need, to get it back into this country, we need people who are prepared to invest. That's why we go to Spain. There are people, and we went to Italy because the government got behind it and helped them because they could see the tourist value for the Ryder Cup. That's why we haven't played one since, when was it? Gleneagles was the last time we were in this country. And yet so many British golf fans have been deprived. We're going to Ireland, but that's because not only the Irish government,
but
JP
hold on a minute. Gleneagles is Gleneagles. Adair Manor is fantastic. Name a top course in Bolton.
It doesn't matter. Well, hang on. Marco Simeone was practically created in Italy for the Ryder Cup. So it's not just about that. It's about the whole infrastructure.
It's all about tradition. What's up here?
No, and then Celtic Manor was a fairly new course built by a guy with plenty of money with the backing of the Welsh government. We do not have at the moment the support to get the Ryder Cup back into this country because it is a huge tourist event. Why do you think Adair Manor and the surrounding area and the Irish government are putting millions when they could have the Open now near Dublin?
Hold on, let me think, Rupert. Well, there is, you might have a point here because Lytham's right next to Blackpool. And Blackpool, with a bit of luck, that needs a splash of paint, doesn't it? Maybe we'll get Dulux to sponsor if it's there.
I haven't been to. I've only been to Blackpool.
It's going for European Culture City of the Year or something, isn't it?
Well, no, Milton Keynes.
Yeah, and Ipswich, and Blackpool and Ipswich. Honestly,
well,
someone's having a laugh.
But the Ryder Cup, if it's coming back to this country, needs not only someone who wants to bring it to Bolton and all the money that would be, but also needs the support of the government as well, because it's a huge tourist benefit to this country and golf tourism. So I wasn't expecting to talk about that, but Bolton, if they have the money, because I know the London Golf Club have been thinking about it, but again, it's all about the infrastructure and what helps to bring, we saw, and you've been to Ryder Cups, it's a big deal in terms of the whole effort to bring it to this country, and that's why Britain is struggling to stage it.
Well done, Rupert. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day. Listen,
thanks, Rup.
Ronnie, I say, Ronnie, Ranny, Tony Knowles, people like that from Bolton. You've got, is he not from there? So Ian McKellen, Vernon Kay, Amir Khan, Peter Kay. Well, a bit. Oh, come on.
Do you know what I think? At least it's another world-class course that we can play at. We can have a game.
Where?
Well, they're going to make a world-class course, aren't they, in Bolton? At least we can go and play it. It's another good course in the country.
I'll take your word for it, Dino. 12 minutes to 7.
Is getting it tonight. A shocking week for the Chelsea.
What do you mean?
They got slapped by PSG.
What do you mean?
Got slapped by Newcastle. And then got slapped with a transfer ban.
What do you mean?
It's been a slapping week. Slap, 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 slap. Chelsea, slap. Get your calls in, you want to have your say. 03 717 22 33 44.
Do you know what's amazing? Before the game, it wasn't me. We had a meeting with the referee. My assistant goes in. The first thing he talks about is our huddle.
Chelsea 0, Newcastle 1. It's just one straight long pass through the middle. It really is awful defending from Chelsea. And when Murphy lays the ball off, there is Anthony Gordon literally to walk the ball home.
My players made a decision that they wanted to be around the ball, to respect the ball.
What signs have you seen?
I've seen signs.
What signs?
Encouraging signs.
What's happening?
Hello, mate.
How are you?
I'm all right. I've had better weeks.
Yeah? What happened?
Not going to lie.
What happened?
Do you know when you know things are bad? Is where Spurs pick up a point and got beat by 5-2 in the middle.
Don't worry about me, mate.
You lot have had a better week than Chelsea.
Don't worry about us. What happened at Chelsea,
That's
mate?
when you know things are bad.
What's happened?
Well, you know, so it happens, mate. Bad weeks happen.
No.
That's a bad week.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Download the new improved app to easily manage your accounts and quotes.
Barcelona. 6:53, Newcastle fans. Oh dear, how are you feeling this morning? 03717 223344 is the number. Come and tell us. Is Eddie the right? Oh no, I don't want to. Is Eddie the right man to take you forward? I don't want to slag him off. At half time, I would love that game. It was a great game. Adrian Durham says it's time to offer his resignation. That was our breakfast preview. Our good friends at Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Get free next day track delivery. Head to travisperkins.co.uk or download the app.
Would you rather?
She's good. It's not Alicia Keys, is it? Or is it the new one?
Oh, it's Alicia Keys.
Oh, no, I know who it is, but I don't know much about them. The Georgettes?
The Georgettes, would you rather? Because we are going to play this version of Shenanigans this week. A little game of Would You Rather with Alan and Dino's. The rules are simple. I'll ask you some questions, one at a time, and you've got to tell me what would you rather do. Alan?
Yes.
You're up first.
Great.
Would you rather Rangers win the Champions League or Celtic get relegated?
Yeah, I'd like to look down the tables a bit. I think we'd get relegated, yes.
Okay, Dino. Would you rather win the Masters or Wales win the World Cup?
Wales win the World Cup.
You liar.
I would.
You little liar.
Wales win the World Cup. Like, it's a miracle. If we got Bosnia coming up next week, and then the winner, if we can beat Bosnia, it's between Northern Ireland and Italy. So we got 2 massive games. Ben Davies is injured. Kiefer Moore's injured. Big blows for us. But fingers crossed we can do it.
Alan, here we go.
To win the World Cup, Wales, obvious.
Okay, Alan, here we go. Bit of talk sport, would you rather here? Would you rather have Simon John's hair or Andy Goldstein's?
I think I'd rather have hair.
Hair.
Don't know, you're laughing at Ed. I think I'd probably have, I think Simon.
Simon?
Yeah.
I think Simon's hair would look lovely on you.
Yeah, because that barn of Andy's would make me, it'd change my personality. I'd be arrogant. I'd be like thinking I'm, one of the Oasis brothers, and nah. Simon will do me.
Better than that, Alan. Right, Dino, would you rather live a day in the life of Jason Cundy or Jamie O'Hara?
A day in the life of Jamie O'Hara.
What would that include?
He starts the morning off by getting beat at golf by me, normally. Then he thinks, right, what am I having for lunch? Then after he's finished his lunch, he thinks, what am I having for evening meal? And then he thinks, what else can I eat on the settee? And then he comes into Sports Bar, does the show. Jason Cundy, stable individual, very stable individual, and he's winding Jamie up non-stop. But they're both good, great lads. They're both. But I would have Cundy's life.
Okay. Alan, would you rather fight a 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck?
Ooh, we've had this before.
How have you?
Say it, repeat it again.
Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck? It's a big duck.
Oh, I think you'd fight the one, wouldn't you?
Yeah, 100 duck-sized horses would be a
I
lot.
think you'd fight you'd fight the one.
I don't think you're winning either of those, by the way.
RSPCA.
Okay, is that your answer?
No comment.
Okay, well, Dino, this
ducks up.
Dino, this one for you. I'm a bit worried about this one. Would you rather have your search history read out on air or your group chat messages?
Either. Search history. All I ever search is how to improve my chipping, how to improve my driving off the tee.
Is that
it? Yeah. Or
You lead a pretty straight, simple life, Dino, don't you?
I don't believe it.
Don't take a lot to please me. Really.
Okay, yeah.
Quite straightforward. Just like things most men like sport. We watch the darts, cricket. I love sport. So if I had the remote control, TV, fridge, that'd do me. Sun. Spain out. I'd rather get ripped off in the sun, so I'm going to go and live in Spain at some point.
Okay, so your answer is?
What was the question?
Would you rather have your search history read out on air? Your group
Search
chat?
history.
Search history.
No problem.
Okay.
Why? What do you think I'm searching? I know what you're thinking again.
Look at the clock, Dino. One more.
One more. Alan, would you rather have fingers for toes or toes for fingers?
Fingers for toes.
Fingers for toes?
Yeah,
Long toes?
You wouldn't want toes up here, would you?
No, that's true. I love that you had to demonstrate them out like you were typing. And Dino, this is bizarre. Would you rather have teeth for nails or nails for teeth?
Nails for teeth are better than the ones I've got, probably.
Yeah, teeth for
I've
nails.
had my teeth knocked out 3 times, so they're false.
That's not a surprise.
What? Elbows. You remember Kevin Ball?
Yeah.
Sunderland.
He was a tough little guy.
He's still got my teeth in his elbow. And Rhino at Millwall, Keith Stevens, he's elbowed my teeth out. So I'd have nails for teeth.
Okay, do we have time for one more?
Yeah, go on, last one.
Would you rather sneeze every time you speak or burp every time you kiss?
Oh, that's a strange question. Burp every time.
Sneeze every time you speak. I mean, you do this breakfast show for 4 hours. That'd be a lot of sneezing.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
We wouldn't be able to have a conversation.
It'd have to be burp. Well, yeah. But the second one.
You don't kiss anyone.
Exactly. I was just thinking that.
Dino, final one for you. Would you rather never be able to wash your hands or never be able to brush your teeth?
Never be able to wash my hands.
Got the teeth.
Teeth, Dino.
It's got to be teeth.
I meant you've got
Your
to be
breath will be bogging.
No, you've got,
Yeah, we wouldn't sit next to
That's
you.
what I meant. You've got to be able to brush your teeth. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I got it the wrong way around. So I'd rather have dirty hands than dirty teeth.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. That was Would You Rather. Well played.
Would you rather? I like that.
Okay.
Right, coming up, the next hour is coming up to 7 o'clock. What a show. Oh, dear. Right, what we got? We're going to talk last night. We talked tonight's football as well. And the weekend coming up as well. Some big, big games. And the cup final at Wembley.
Chelsea handed a suspended transfer ban and fined £10.75 million after secret payments to players and unlicensed agents helped facilitate transfer deals in the Abramovich era. So many people are suggesting here this morning that Chelsea have in their own eyes, got off with one. Of course, Stefan is with us, and in his words, Stefan, you have said you feel the punishment handed to Chelsea is extremely lenient. But Simon, can I put this to you? How isolated do you think this was? Illicit payments to players and agents to facilitate transfers. Was this just Chelsea?
I would doubt it. My nose tells me that it's not necessarily an industry standard practice, but notwithstanding that, I still think there's lots of people that operate in certain ways within football that I've seen and been privy to. And my nose tells me that it wouldn't be just isolated to Chelsea. I mean, the reaction to it, if I was in football now and it was my Crystal Palace had been, I remember getting promoted to the Premier League and being summoned to a meeting by Philip French, the head of comms, and Richard Scudamore to advise me how they expected me to behave in the Premier League, which I told to blow them out their arse. So I would have probably been full of outrage at the same time as a balanced commercial mind, knowing that the big six are in part the value in the Premier League. So the balance between this outrage about their inappropriate behaviour would also be in the commercial reality of the value that they add to the league. So, you know, I'd have a bit of both in my mind. But listen, inherently, the liabilities to operate in a certain way have to be governed and enforced by those that are in positions of influence.
Football fans all have stadiums we love, but do any of us have a pitch that we love? It might sound like an odd question, but pitches can be different sizes with big consequences. Why is that? And what are the actual rules? Back when association football started, pitches could be up to 100 metres wide and 200 metres long. That's longer than Ellen Road. Not the pitch, the stadium. Anyway, UEFA wanted a standard across Europe for international matches, which became 105 metres long and 68 metres wide. But some clubs had been rebels, not intentionally, but because of the stadiums. Take Highbury, for example. It was 5 metres shorter and a metre narrower, meaning away sides had a challenge to adjust. White Hart Lane was exactly the same. And actually, when Spurs temporarily moved to Wembley, they asked the FA to shorten the pitch. The FA, very offended by the sacrilegious suggestion, said no, which in fairness could have actually benefited Tottenham because when they moved into their shiny new stadium, the pitch was exactly the same size as Wembley's. Today, Forest Pitch at the City Ground is a big one. It's 2 metres wider than any other pitch in the Premier League. But the smallest of all Craven Cottage, just 100 metres long and 65 wide. No excuse for not tracking your man. There are a couple of crazy outliers in Europe too. At Napoli's home ground, the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona, the pitch is a whopping 110 metres long. At least they don't play on a slope like Newcastle do. There's a 2-metre incline on the pitch at St James's Park, and don't get me started on the old pitch at Yeovil too. It used to be a slant of 2 metres corner to corner and across the halfway line. So UEFA have their standards, so do the FA, but they do give pitches in England some wiggle room. Pitches can be anywhere between 90 and 120 metres long and between 45 and 90 metres wide. I mean, the rules state you can't have a square pitch, but in theory you could have one that's 91 metres long and 90 wide. Imagine rocking up to play a Sunday League game and the pitch is basically a square. So there are rules and regulations on sizes, with a UEFA standard that roughly everyone follows, but as we all know, size doesn't matter, does it?
Good morning, 7 minutes past 7 o'clock. talkSPORT breakfast with Arnold Clark. That's them croissants. Get rid of them. With Arnold Clark's rewards event. Save up to £500 on thousands of cars. Dean, God. Dean, the storyteller's with me. Dino, morning.
Morning.
Liverpool turned up the heat in the second leg tie against Galatasaray. Great pressure early on, wasn't it? Putting one of the performances of the season, hit 4 without reply to win 4-1 in aggregate. Liverpool have now booked a quarter-final tie with holders PSG, and boss Arne Slot has been reflecting on the same fixture from last season.
I've said a lot of times how great of a match that was, the best game I've managed in my career. Maybe not in result, but how football should be played. Both teams just playing football, just wanting to enjoy the fans, to entertain the fans. We were the only team that brought them to extra time, the only team that brought them to penalties. But that team has showed this season that they haven't dropped their level. And we showed tonight that we can still perform at the level we were performing large parts of last season. So it gives us a lot of confidence that we have this performance.
Yeah, it's the most I've ever seen animated Arne on the touchline as well. Maybe he's got to do that a bit more. But we'll come to it in a minute, Dino, about sackings and managers. I don't want to see Arne Slot go, I don't. But there was 1 or 2 very, very good performances. Although Galatasaray, you never know if they're going to turn up. Dino, you played.
Yeah.
You played there. You know, for me, what about the guy up front? You know, I've got a sore wrist, and should he have started if he's got a fracture? I don't know what the outcome is.
Osman.
Yeah,
they lost him.
It's a huge miss, isn't
Yeah,
it?
Gundogan and Sane were on the bench. But it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Because Galatasaray, along with Fenerbahce, they dominate the Turkish league. They've got the ball most weeks. They're playing football with the ball, got possession. And then once they run into, in Europe, their record's not very good. Once they run into the teams that are going to have the lion's share of possession, they seem to struggle resisting. Last night, there's 2 ways of looking at it. Galatasaray never turned up.
Well, they came to hold on to a 1-0 lead, didn't they?
Yeah.
Falling over, any contact, down they went.
Trying to waste time. But Okan, the manager, I played with him at Galatasaray. Nice lad, went to Inter Milan.
Excuse me.
And then come back
Did
to
you? You played with
Galatasaray.
him?
Yeah, I played with him right back. He was a bit like, who would you say? A bit like Kirkes type player. Small, quick, joined in, good footballer. But he'll be disappointed at the way his team played last night. They had one shot at goal. But Liverpool, that's more
They were
like
at it. They were at it. Well,
That's more like it. Passing the ball forward and pressing. It's not rocket science. They were getting the ball forward quicker. Mo Salah they were winning the ball higher up and giving it to Mo Salah. He's in. Some through balls inside
I'm
the
glad
fullbacks.
Mo got a goal because I think he's struggling big still, me.
Well, yeah.
When they give him the penalty, I'm like, oh, no. You know, I know they're trying to encourage him, but it was... His confidence is shot. It's amazing because what a player he has been.
He's not going past people like he has in the past, where he actually beats people as if they're not there. And you get... Because as a fullback, you're in trouble because he can go outside you or inside you. If he comes inside you, he does what he done last night. What a goal. He's bent it in the top corner.
I didn't see the goal. But when I read this morning, I went, good, because I'm pleased for him.
His penalty, he's tried to chip it down the middle.
I know.
And he's dragged it. So it's got the goalie's foot. We were talking about that, actually, last week, about hitting him down the middle, that Panenka thing. He's tried that, and he never really took part in the game until he scored.
Yeah.
But Wirtz went under the radar. He was involved in most of the moves, little touches. Soboslai, sorry.
Quick one, because you've got to bring in Dom. Where are you and McAllister at the moment? Is he struggling?
Struggling, but it's like as if they've changed the style of play, Al. For a midfield player, am I going to get the ball off the back four, or am I getting it off the front? So they've decided to get the ball forward a bit quicker. He started winning more second balls. The midfield players, Gravenberch played well. I thought they played well, all three of them in midfield last night.
Let's find out what the Daily Mail's Dom King thought about the game. Dom, a very good morning.
Morning, Dom.
Morning, gentlemen. Are we all well today?
Very well. Did you enjoy it, Dom?
It was, they played very well last night, Al. Thought the energy in the stadium was different. There was lots of things that, to me, I've never seen the players so consciously trying to keep the crowd involved. In the first 20 minutes, Szoboszlai did it twice, Frimpong did it, Kirkes did it, Van Dijk did it, Konate did it, sort of waving their arms at the crowd to G them up, which I think they were obviously mindful about what had happened on Sunday. But as I said, the atmosphere was completely different last night, and even the style of football, it was quicker. It was everything that you'd want to see from a Liverpool team that last night, and it was no surprise by the end that the crowd felt far more buoyant than it has been.
Yeah, Dom, I was going to ask you about Szoboszlai. Obviously, his attitude is spot on because the manager's asked him to play out position.
Yeah.
In every position. He just gets on with it. I mean, last week, he cost them the game because in the last couple of minutes when they conceded that goal, he should have been round. He's not a right back and he didn't get round in his position. But in the middle of midfield, he's getting compared to Steven Gerrard, which shows you he's on the right road. He's everything that they need to follow for me.
Yeah, Dean, he's so far clear in the race to be Liverpool's player of the season. It's like watching Gaelic Warrior in the Gold Cup last week. It's a one-horse race. And he's got the engine of a racehorse. He's been absolutely faultless. The way that he runs, the way that he competes, the goals that he scored. That was
strikes the ball a bit like Eze. Elegant, and it looks as if there's no power in it, but what a strike.
Do you know, there's a group of them, isn't there? There's Ericsson, Maddison. When they get in that number 10 spot, about 30 yards out, they've got a stick of dynamite in the feet. Eze's got it, and Szoboszlai's got it as well.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just a little quick story on. They were so desperate to sign Szoboszlai in 2023. They basically invested all that kitty that summer. They had to pay the 60 million to Leipzig over. I think it was over 12 months. It was a huge deal to get done. But that's how desperate they were to do it. He's been an excellent player. I mean, it's getting to the stage where his contract's going to need negotiating soon. They don't need to make any mistakes with that.
No.
That needs to be done.
So Dom, looking ahead, PSG. Oh no, tell me first of all about the Galatasaray player. He sliced his finger. I don't know how bad it was. Was it a bad one?
It was a horrible injury to see. I think he's gone to hospital in Liverpool to have surgery. It was from one side of the ground. You looked like it was a. You thought it was like one of those knee injuries, or when there was that many people around him. But I think, looking at some of the footage of it, he's got a finger caught in between the railings of the front of the Anfield Road and the advertising hoardings, and God, I hope he's all right, and it's a quick recovery for him. But it was an awful thing to see.
What about moving on? PSG, different game.
Yeah,
different game. Whoa.
Al, it's a totally different game, but I would say to you this: if Liverpool play like they did last night, they can win one of the trophies that they're in. I mean, Man City are hot and cold, aren't they? If Liverpool played like that at the Etihad in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, there's no reason that they can't beat them. That is the style of football that Liverpool should be having. It was a 2 or 3 beats quicker than the tempo that has been, we've seen throughout winter. But it's just
Dom, the difference, right? If you think back, the difference, Liverpool's midfield, when they had Salah, Firmino and Mane playing up front, and they used to hit balls from back to front, diagonals, non-stop, Trent hitting them.
Well, we were talking about that last week, Dean.
Yeah, the three midfield players, Henderson, Milner and Fabinho, brilliant at getting on second balls. They knew it was on its way. I'll get there first. And then he's shoving it back to Mo Salah and Mane saying, go on, get at them. They've stopped doing that. And last night they were back on it again.
Yeah, and the crowd responded, Dean. It was you know better than anyone what it's like to play at Anfield when the crowd gets up. In terms of, that's the one thing that you need more than just energy. Show the crowd that you care. Show the crowd that there's a bit of fight, and you're not going to give up. First things first, and that's the one currency that needed to get the crowd turned around. But as I said, if they played like that, there's nobody they should fear. But the question mark that you've got at them at the minute is whether they're consistent enough to do it.
I enjoyed it, I have to say. Dom, thank you.
Thanks,
Dom King there from the Daily Mail. Right, coming up, we're told by the papers this morning that Liam Rosenior's job is safe until at least next season. Arnie was meant to be under pressure, as is Newcastle manager Eddie. Now we're told Liam Rosenior. We'll discuss whether that's a guarantee. That's coming next.
Max Dowman is. I see him playing. Because where was it? Was it Mansfield you played the other day in the FA Cup?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He makes a run, right, from about 15, 20 yards outside their box. All right, he just glides edge of the box like a slalom. Yeah. The kid is a major talent. So is Ethan Wanyeri, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
At that point, he bought Wanyeri on something like 91 minutes at 3-1 up, I think, or 3-0 up.
Yeah.
It was just to give him his debut, nothing else. And that was the point I was making.
John Terry said that he was he hasn't seen a player dribble like that since Lionel Messi.
Well, I would I'd hold back that sort of credit yet. I think, come on, let the boy be the boy. Let the boy just find his way. Totally different build to Messi.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, you look at the size of him. He looks like, and he's still growing. he looks like he could be. I don't know how tall he is, but he looks like he's going to be 6 foot plus, just by his build, doesn't he? And he's got, Messi was. Yeah, I would resist comparing any young player at his age to anyone at the minute. Just let him be Max Dowman.
Yeah,
he'll be Max Dowman.
Yeah,
he's a major talent. He's a major talent.
Fair play to him. They do produce some.
Yeah, they have. Lewis Skelly coming through. And, I mean, the thing about Lewis Skelly, he might have to leave.
Yeah.
And Capierre, if they sign him permanently in Capierre, you got in him. They've got Calafiori. Where's Lewis Skelly going to go? His international career.
Well, she's not a blue, she's a red, but she wants to talk about Chelsea. Katie's back with us. What have we got, Katie?
I am wearing blue, though, to be fair. So we
electric blue.
Electric blue,
Yeah.
yes. You like this top?
Yeah, very nice.
Thank you very much. So we are talking...
Looking at you too much.
Who?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Can't take your eyes off her.
I'm not. She's in here every 5 minutes.
I'll be gone in a minute. Okay, so we are talking about this because is Liam Rosenior already beginning to lose the Chelsea fans? So he's getting a lot of stick for taking notes in the 85th minute of their 8-2 defeat to PSG. Social media is getting increasingly brutal towards him, much like we saw.
See, I don't like that.
No.
Taking notes.
Well, I was going to say, let's listen to this. Liam Rosenior was asked if fan discontent is a worry for him.
This is a fantastic football club where the fans want success instantly, and that's rightfully so for the size of the club. I have to say, I understand because of the aggregate scoreline in the time why fans are frustrated. They want us to win, so I completely get it, and I understood that before I came in. I also want to make them happy and give them the nights they deserve, not just me but us as a group, as a team, and that was a really, really difficult one to take because of the manner in which we went out this evening.
So why do you think fans aren't on his side despite results?
I think it's a long story with Chelsea. They've obviously invested in youngsters looking to the future. So if you're going to do that, you do realise that youngsters cost you games, learning on the job. They learn from their mistakes. Your Chelsea Football Club, you're trying to win the league, you're trying to win the Champions League, trying to win everything, but you've got young players who are going to make mistakes. So you need a manager who relates to the young players and brings them on. If you keep changing the manager every 5 minutes, honestly, the tail starts wagging the dog. The players go, don't listen to him, he'll be gone in 5 minutes. They're on about sacking him now. It's ridiculous. They've done a project, Al. They've spent 1.5 billion, and I'm trying to think, Cole Palmer, name a world-class player they've got.
Well, Enzo Fernandez.
I'm not sure about that.
I like the Brazilian.
I'm not sure about that.
Caicedo.
Brazilian.
I'm on about world class. World class means you get in everybody else's team.
Wow.
Cole Palmer for me is the only one.
Oh, Moises Caicedo.
They've got. He's a good player, but actually world class is another level.
So you don't
Would you
think
get an
Moises
Arsenal's team?
Caicedo is world class?
I don't think you get an Arsenal's team. I think they're good. They're the good players. But if you spend 1.5 billion, that means you can pay the wages to get you the best players. And they've got it wrong for me. They've signed too many duds. In fact,
right away when I think of Chelsea, right away I think of they'll always give you a chance at the back. They'll always concede.
The two centre backs got destroyed last night. The two centre backs all over the place. If you look, you're playing against world class strikers at this stage of competitions. They find you out. If you're a bit slow thinking, or if your positional play is not perfect, or you're ball watching when the ball's up the other end of the pitch, sneaky, brilliant strikers will nick goals on you.
Yeah, and they'll punish you, much like they did for BSG. Well, this story in The Sun, Liam not for the chop. Liam Rosenior will be Chelsea boss until at least the end of the season. And if he could even survive, if the Blues currently sit sixth in the Premier League and they fail to qualify for the Champions League, he still will be on until the end of the season. So his predecessor, Enzo Maresca, was due to have his performance reviewed in the summer and accepted reaching the Champions League was a minimum target. But Chelsea's owners have their own credibility tied up with Rosenior after bringing in the Englishman from Strasbourg. So you feel as though even though results might not be going Chelsea's way, the Sun is saying Liam actually will be staying until the end of the season.
It was a surprise to me when Liam got the job. And then I thought, oh, good on you. You know, you had a couple of good results. I thought, go on, prove people wrong.
He's everything he says now. If you don't win as a manager, right? If you put it this way, if I wore a clown's outfit and stood in the technical area with a big red nose and a flower that squirts water, and we won, the fans would go, genius. He took the pressure right off the players. But
I think they might say nutter.
Well, they go genius. He's distracted from the. If you win, everything you say is right. When you lose, no matter if you centre forward missed 3 open goals and you played really well, and it's not your fault, you're a clown. If you lose now, there's no in between anymore. It's like 3 games. Tudor, Spurs, sack them. You do realise it's short-term gain and it ruins your football club. If you keep sacking your manager and there's not...
Yeah, but when he came to, you look at his record, you're thinking, what? You know, for me it was...
Yeah, but Al, 4 games and they call him from his head.
Yeah, but look at his record, where he's gone, how long he's hung about for. He jumped ship.
Yeah. But he does understand football. He's managed 12 football teams. He's not a complete nugget. He yet does understand football. He's walked into a club with 13 injured players. What do you expect him to do? You're going to lose games. It's not because he's a fool.
Yeah, I accept that, but some of the displays are just unacceptable from Tottenham. Lack of effort, individualism. No one wants to help each other out. You know, it's been a horrible, horrible watch.
Better last night.
Liverpool was good. That was the start of it. You thought, here we go, they're getting together now.
Yeah.
Before that, it was diabolical.
Ooh, Spurs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I said last week that some of them have jumped ship. They're telling their agents they want to leave. Yeah. A new manager comes in, and because managers have got no power anymore, the players just go, I'm not digging in. He's gone in a minute. Because you go in at half-time and you start pointing the finger. You don't think the manager hasn't gone in and gone, you need to pull your finger out. You pull your finger out. You're not working hard enough. They just look at you as if to say, who are you talking to? You'll be gone in 5 minutes. So they sit back, they train within themselves every day, and you're a goner. You start criticising players now because they know you ain't staying for 2 years and they can't go in the reserves and play in the reserves and play well. It's short-term gain, and there's that much money involved in football. That's why.
Right, Katie, I've got a break. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Enjoyed your little
game. Is that it, Katie?
Yes.
Nice to see you again.
Lovely to see you.
You put a smile on everyone's face.
Thank you very much, Dino. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Chelsea fans, we want to hear from you after an embarrassing Champions League exit. Is Liam still the right man for the job? Give us a call. Let us know what you think. 03717 223344. Come out next. We'll be hearing from a Spurs fan. Even Jamie O'Hara called you ridiculous.
Guys, I'm being honest here.
No, but you're not. You're just being stupid.
years back, when Jurgen Klopp was in charge, we tried signing Moises Caicedo, a defensive midfielder, because since Fabinho and Henderson have left, we've not signed one.
Yeah.
He turned us down. We tried signing that Southampton young
Lavia as well.
Chelsea. Lavia, yeah.
The same window,
He
I think.
turned us down.
Yeah.
A year later, we went for Zubamendi. He turned us down. We've not replaced that kind of player. Slot came in and played Gravenberch in that position. He did well. We won the league because of the other teams falling off as well. But we've not signed that player yet. We've let go of centre halves, Matip and company, and we've got only two.
Company.
Choice. No, Matip and company. You know.
Oh, Matip and Co. Other players.
Yeah,
Right.
Matip and Co. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, let go of players like that, and then we've not signed any centre halves. We're probably the only Premier League club who's got two senior centre halves on their books.
Do you know what, Sam, as well? Another one, Mark Gahey. I don't know why you didn't get him.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. For £5 million, we spent outrageous money on attacking players, but we not signed a defensive player just for £5 million. How ridiculous is that?
Yeah.
That doesn't explain why you're not scoring goals.
Exactly. Yeah, but there comes Slot's position. Arne Slot.
Hold on.
Man's getting cash at the cash point.
Hold on. Sorry. Are you working behind the tills at like Tesco's or something?
Yes, I am.
Why are you talking to us?
Because I'm listening to you as well.
That's unbelievable.
It's not often you associate fan power with Chelsea Football Club, but one of the shining examples of it lies with a group called the Chelsea Pitch Owners. And they've proved to be the thorn in the side of owners past and present who've been dead set on moving stadiums to a larger, more lucrative piece of land. Essentially, the supporters group holds the freehold to the land on which Stamford Bridge sits. Former owner Ken Bates set it up at a time where some unruly property developers tried to evict the club from their ground. In order to prevent this, he established the CPO as a company that owned the pitch and offered the fans the chance to buy a share for £100. As well as that, they also own the rights to the name Chelsea Football Club, so if any owner wants to take them elsewhere, they can't be called Chelsea without the approval from the CPO. Now, in 2011, Roman Abramovich tried and failed to move them away from Stamford Bridge, and this has set a precedent for Todd Bowley and the current power brokers at Chelsea. They know any plan which involves moving from Stamford Bridge will require CPO approval from the now 13,000 fans who own it. There are fans who are concerned that if they stay at the bridge, they'll be left behind their domestic and European rivals who are moving to more commercially successful stadiums. But for the heritage and history lovers, Stamford Bridge is one of the iconic English stadiums, and to move away would be a grave mistake. It might not be as flashy as others, but stadiums like it have something about them that cannot be replaced. One thing's for sure, if Bowley wants to take Chelsea away from their home, he'll have to go through the CPO first.
.35, welcome to the Icebox. What is wrong with it? It's freezing in here. No wonder you get your waistcoat on, your jacket on.
After your Lazarus-like recovery from last week, which I can't believe.
I'm freezing.
Your powers of recovery are unbelievable. But it's not cold. Maybe it's the tablets you're taking.
There's something wrong, honestly.
Remember Gary Ablett?
Yeah.
Liverpool. He's not with us anymore.
No, thanks, Dino.
Died at a very young age. But to keep his name alive, I call him Gary Ablett's, the tablets.
Do you?
Have you took your Gary Ablett's this morning?
No, he seemed a nice guy.
He was. Great lad. Good, great player. Say, great player. Really, really good player.
Yeah. Okay, the talkSPORT Breakfast Arnold Clark Rewards event. Get £500 off your next car this week only. This week only. Dino the Storyteller with me now. Spurs won the first game since January. Last night, a good 3-2 win over Atletico Madrid. Joe, the Tottenham fan, though, phoned the boys in the Numpty bar last night and claimed something rather ridiculous. Have a listen to this. Oh,
I may sound like an absolute clown saying this, right? After that performance that we put in tonight, if we saw that week in, week out, like the old Tottenham, and we played like that every single week, for me, there is no reason why we cannot be a title in the title contention next season.
I'm not a clown. Joe?
Yes.
Let's just not be stupid right now.
Oh,
yeah?
come on.
You know?
How old are you, Joe?
I'm 19.
I mean, you know.
Come on, mate.
Grow up.
Yeah, grow up.
No, I guys, I'm being honest here.
No, but you're not. You're just being stupid.
Hold on. Did you see encouraging signs, though, Joe?
100%. I think that's something that we can
think Joe might be right, you know. I'm not a clown. No.
Stop. Honestly, you're an absolute nugget.
No, he's not a nugget.
You can't come in here and say, if we keep playing like that, we can win the title.
Hold
on.
No.
It's just stupid,
No.
Joe.
I wish you could see this. He's shaking his head. He's like, he wants to walk out again, Jamie.
What about Cundy's face?
He's loving it.
Loving it. Yeah.
Oh, that's Joe's Cundy's mate.
I know.
What about that?
Yeah.
Oh, he's winding Jamie up. You can't believe.
Jamie, come on, mate. Come on. He's brilliant.
Oh, dear. From the ridiculous to even more ridiculous, Newcastle crashed out the Champions League 8-3 on aggregate to Barca. It's an interesting one, this. Adrian Dunham was in duty for talkSPORT as ever last night, and he didn't hold back. I thought he was well, I've got to be honest, I thought, no, because at half-time I was loving the game. He did not hold back on his assessment of Newcastle and Eddie Howe.
Eddie Howe was given a striker stroke midfielder for £65 million last summer. He stayed on the bench, Nick Voltemade. Johan Visser, expensive signing, stayed on the bench. Questions have to be asked about either the recruitment or Eddie Howe's refusal to use those expensive players. Chelsea were embarrassing. Newcastle, that second half capitulation, was that even more embarrassing? But after that second half showing, a complete capitulation. I wonder what was said at half time. It was a total mess. And I think all talkSPORT listeners know by now, my policy is, when you get absolutely hammered, the manager has to at least offer his resignation. Now, whether that's accepted by the Newcastle board or not, that's what Eddie Howe has to do, in my opinion.
Adrian, with the greatest respect, it's not Luton away, it's Barcelona, the Nou Camp. I made my European debut there. It's an awesome place to go. And at half-time, I'll say it again, I couldn't wait for the second half to start. I thought, this is great. I'm really enjoying this game. Open game. If Newcastle can get their noses in front here, it could be a different story. But in the end, they caved in at the back. But you're talking about Barcelona in Spain. Do you know what I mean? It's not, you know, they're class. Yeah, look what Real Madrid done, and Barca are in front of them in the La Liga. So I'm not having it. Just on that one game, you can't say, Eddie, hand it and call it a day. No. You can't do that. Not for me.
No, I don't think. I agree with most of what Adrian says. I don't agree with this one. You can't, he sounded like he was a.
I think was he caught up in all the atmosphere? Maybe
raging after they got beat. He wants them to win, doesn't he? But some of the assists from the players out there, the Barcelona players, the assists, you don't get them in the Premier League. Some of the balls that were threading round the big defenders, Newcastle's defenders, they couldn't cope with it. But they are a really good team. I don't think they'll win the Champions League. No, I think Eddie Howe's done a good job. They've got a lot of money, but can't spend it.
Is it Eddie's fault? Lewandowski at the far post out jumps everyone, nods one in. I don't think you can blame Eddie for that.
I looked at that goal and I thought, is that the goalkeeper's fault? It's in the 6-yard box. That's his area.
Beyond the far post.
He wasn't blocked in. Who's he beat? He's beat. I think he's beat Tonali or is Livramento. Livramento he beat in the air, but he does score 50 goals a season, so he beats a lot of people in the air. So he come up against a good team, and I've done it. You've played in games. What's the biggest pasting you've got?
Oh, off the top of my head, I don't think there was a big one.
I remember getting beat 7-4 at Luton for Derby. I remember getting beat 6-0 for Swansea against Portsmouth last game of the season. Portal the kids out. And as a manager...
Oh, I tell you what it was, 5-0 Leicester beat us. So I'm telling a lie, Lineker and Alan Smith up front.
It happens sometimes, doesn't it? They have 5 shots, 5 go in. I remember manager of Wrexham, we played Gateshead, got beat 7-something. I couldn't believe it. They had 7 shots. And then the following Tuesday night, we beat Wimbledon 1-0 away from home. Sometimes you can't put your finger on it. I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle win at the weekend.
Well, just back to Newcastle, Craig Hope wrote in the Mail yesterday that it was the biggest night of Eddie Howe's career. I spoke to him on the radio yesterday. This morning he writes, Toon serve up a dog's dinner at the back. I'd like to say the man himself joins us now, Craig Hope. Craig, a very good morning, Craig.
Hi, Craig.
Good morning again, Alan. Dean, how
Craig,
are you?
weird one. Half time, I couldn't get enough of this game. I was loving it. Really was.
Absolutely, Alan. Well, yesterday I was on the radio with yourself and Ali, and we spoke about how Newcastle could get at Barcelona. They could exploit that high line. They could get in behind. They could create chances. They had to score goals. Well, they did that. The problem was they could have literally done that 6 times last night and still lost, because as good as the attacking performance was for 45 minutes, the defending was dreadful for 90. And against a team like Barcelona, you're going to pay the price for that. Newcastle were good. As you said there at half-time, we were all looking forward to the second half. But I think on reflection, that goal right on the cusp of the break is what's changed the course of this. Newcastle should have been going in at 2-2 with a feel-good, with a positivity about them, knowing that they have been able to pick off Barcelona. Yes, the defending had to improve, but when they conceded that third goal, the mood inside the stadium changed. And I think psychologically, that was damaging for Newcastle.
Yeah.
It came out in the second half, and it was a runaway train of a performance. I love Adrian Durham. I'm good friends with him. Got all the time in the world for him. But it feels to me as if Adrian's revealed himself as a Newcastle fan last night. He was almost too caught up in the emotion of it, making that statement about Eddie. Last night wasn't really about Eddie Howe. It was a 45 minutes in isolation where it was a self-fulfilling negative prophecy. And when you're trapped in that cycle and you're up against Lamine Yamal and Rafinha, it's only going to end one way.
Yeah.
You know, it was like being in a casino. You know when you start losing and you're chasing your money back? I think every goal that went in for Barcelona, Newcastle were leaving themselves trying to get goals back. And it ends up you get punished again. 2 centre-halves are on their own on the halfway line. When you're attacking, you don't score. And you get games like that. I wouldn't be surprised if they won at the weekend.
Yeah, Dean, if you look at all of the evidence of late, Newcastle have turned a corner. The problem was they stumbled down a blind alley and face planted last night, and that can happen. Alan made the point, this wasn't Port Vale or Rochdale, this was Barcelona. In the second half, the casino analogy is a good one, really. I think I wrote in the Mail, that Barcelona didn't have to show the cunning of this city's pickpockets, not when Newcastle simply handed over their wallet. It was that sort of night where once it started to go wrong, there was no reversing it. And yes, the second half, it was shambolic. It was a surrender, capitulation, embarrassing, call it what you want. And I feel for Eddie that he's got this now on his CV in this group of players because they are a good group. But I agree with you. They'll go to Sunderland, and if they can pick up where they left off in terms of the league form previously, they've got to treat this game last night, put it in isolation, and bounce back on Sunday. And wow, they could not want for motivation, given the identity, Sunderland, of the opposition this weekend.
I think Eddie's big job here now is because fatigue definitely set in as Barcelona were clearly going to win the tie by how many. You could see the legs going a little bit. So Eddie's got to freshen them up, pick them up for this big derby. Simple as that.
Yeah, is the words he says to the players now. And you're not lying, right? But you have to give them some hope. You have to say, listen, that was never, the scoreline didn't reflect the way we played. We've got Sunderland at the weekend. The whole town relies on us winning this game every year.
Yeah.
We've got to win this game. You've got to pick yourselves up and let's go again.
And interesting, Craig, you get the Sunderland fans rubbing their hands together. Eric Gates, people like that, being we're going to stuff these now. Their heads are down, their chins are on the chest. Come on, early on, straight into them. So it's another cracking game at the weekend.
Yeah, it is. And, the Newcastle went to the Stadium of Light in December and did not give a good account of themselves. I think perhaps it was the first Premier League derby of this version of Newcastle post-takeover. I think maybe the staff, the players underestimated what it was all about. Well, the fallout from that, they will be in absolutely no doubt. The sting in the tail of that one lasted a long time. For some, I don't think the hurt has passed among a certain section of the fan base. So they will know in no uncertain terms that a reaction is needed, not just because of what happened last night in Barcelona, but because of what happened 4 months ago on Wearside. This one is huge on Sunday, but as Dino quite rightly said, Newcastle aren't necessarily in a bad place. They're in a good place at the moment. It's why on the show with you yesterday, we spoke with such positivity of Newcastle hurting Barcelona, which they did do. They did come good on that. They're going to take positives from last night. Anthony Elanga scored 2 goals and they've picked Barcelona off at will in the first half. It was what happened at the other end that undid them and stained what was in the end, pretty grubby.
Yeah.
Disappointing night for Newcastle.
Craig, I've got to break, but I just how did the fans after the game? Did a lot of them head straight to the airport, or did some hang about, have a few, and was the feeling okay between the two sets of fans?
Yeah, there was. Myself and one of my colleagues went to a little bar around the corner from the new camp, and it was almost like an impromptu talk-in. There's about 6 or 7 fans. We all sat around, and do you know what? Their attitude was good. They more or less reflected the sentiment, what I've said here, that it was a bad night. The defending was shocking, but there's no need for really sort of bigger picture stuff in terms of what Adrian Durham had said. Adrian's comments, actually, one of the supporters brought it up. They had it on their phone there, but that certainly isn't the feeling amongst myself, amongst the press, or amongst right-minded thinking supporters.
Nice one, Craig. Safe journey back. Good luck against Sunderland. Thank you. Daily Mail Chief Football Writer Craig Hope there. We want to hear from Newcastle fans either on their way back or still out in Barca. You know the number, 03717 223344. Adrian, was Adrian over the top? Or you might totally agree with Adrian, I don't know. Was last night anything other than humiliation for the Geordies? Second half. You can hear the time weird derby right here on talkSPORT Sunday lunchtime against Sunderland, who are looking to do the double over the Geordies for the first time since 2015. Right, still to come.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Doing what matters for the trade. Find your local branch at travisperkins.co.uk.
Right, it was all moans and groans, wasn't it, with Spurs equalising at Anfield last weekend. What about this? Are Liverpool sneaking under the radar in this year's Champions League? We'll get into that a bit later. Excuse me. With 2005 Champions League winner with the Reds, Didi Hamann. That was our breakfast preview with our good friends at Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Bricks on bricks on bricks. Over 40 million available to order with delivery to site. That's one less thing to worry about.
When do we hear about City and 115? Is there any correlation here?
The overlap, I think, is only to the extent as to the treatment of this sort of conduct has not been treated as severely as PSR. So in a theoretical scenario where City are found to have breached some of the rules, but ultimately, like Chelsea, that wouldn't have impacted on its PSR position.
Yeah.
This agreement suggests that, save for the fact that there was cooperation here and early admission, save for that fact that maybe it's not even a points deduction for something as extreme as that. Maybe. So I think this is generally positive for City in terms of its leniency, but I wouldn't read too much into it because, of course, this is a sanction agreement. As to when it's coming, I mean, clearly we are now way over the expectations of all the parties. The last information I had is they have no idea when it's coming. I think we are back in the realms when international breaks are more likely than other times, but who knows?
And when international breaks are about to come up.
But for City, you must be in the same space.
Yeah.
If you are, because part of the allegation against City is fraud. So if indeed you are found to be guilty, because at this moment in time City aren't found guilty of anything, if you're found to be guilty, how do you then take up the table of sanctions and say, well, actually, it's a points or removal of credit and whatever else you had in the past because you've just allowed Chelsea to admit?
I think what they would say is, in the City case, you will struggle to get any of those lines of mitigation
No, fine.
that are there in the Chelsea
does
case.
mitigation
So it'll all be
But
aggravation.
does mitigation remove points then?
Win a VIP trip to the British Grand Prix on talkSPORT.
Here we go. Have you been watching it, Al? Formula One?
Yeah, I'm trying to get used to it. The cars have changed, haven't they?
Gone smaller.
I don't know what they've done. They're more electric or something. It's just, I don't know.
Half an hour.
I'll get into it again. I will, because I do like watching it. I like watching qualifying, but I'm not getting into it just yet. But listen up, F1 fans. We're down to the second last day. We want you to send you and a pal to Silverstone. It's a great day out. On July the 5th, the British Grand Prix experience like no other. Forget general admission. We're putting you right in the heart of it with the full racing green trackside experience. We've got the whole day sorted for you with all day street food, a fully open bar and much, much more. Ends tomorrow at 4 p.m. Now here's how you can enter. For your chance to win, text the word WIN to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate. Or call us 0343 418 7260. Lines close tomorrow at 4 p.m. But don't forget, that's when you need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus. UK residents only. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. Now, Harry Kane continues to rewrite the record books at Bayern, bringing up 50 Champions League goals to the German Giants, powered past Atalanta. Another historic milestone for Harry, who becomes the first English player to hit that half-century in Europe's elite competition. And he's done it at speed, reaching 50 goals in 66 games. Brilliant. Is he the most popular Englishman in Germany of all time? For more on this, delighted to say, join us now, German football expert Ralf Honigstein. Ralf, good morning again.
Hi, Ralf.
Morning.
Good morning from Munich.
Ralf, 50 goals in just 66 games. We're talking Gerd Müller here. This is brilliant.
Yeah, I think he's exceeded all expectations. Bayern, of course, knew that they had a fantastic player on their hands when they managed to get him from Spurs, but they didn't realize just how good he would be in terms of goal scoring, in terms of leadership, in terms of his all-round game, which has gone to another level. The passing, the movement, the defending, the amount of work he does in his own box, it's just astounded people, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful story.
There's no doubt about it, because one or two people, weren't they, in big games were saying, does he do it? Well, he's proved them wrong now, hasn't he?
Amazing, because he's not lightning quick. To get on the end of the balls that he gets on the end of without being lightning quick, his football brain is just 2 yards ahead of everyone. He's got a stick of dynamite in both feet, and his anticipation's up there. Ralf, would you say he is the most popular English player ever to play in Germany?
It's between him and Kevin Keegan for the slightly older generation. I mean, Kevin was incredibly popular. People absolutely adored him. And of course, at a time, Hamburg were one of the best teams in the world as well. But in the modern era, if you will, there's no doubt that Harry has made an unbelievable impact. People love him. I mean, even those who don't like Bayern, and half the population don't, I think begrudgingly respect his accomplishments and see him as somebody who has really not put a foot wrong, whether that's on the pitch or off it, because all his interviews, he's always professional, he's always nice, he's always polite, and just a fantastic ambassador, I think, for the English game. If the English game indeed needed another ambassador, he's absolutely been brilliant.
So, the big one coming up, Real Madrid against Bayern. What a game this is in the Champions League.
Yeah, I can't wait. There's a real rivalry between those sides, kind of a European rivalry. Bayern fans, I think, never get more agitated than when Real Madrid are in town. So it's going to be absolutely electric in both stadiums. And of course, Bayern feel, despite a recent bad record, they have lost the last 4 meetings with Real Madrid in the knockout competitions. They feel that this year could be different because the team is playing consistently at a really high level. They've improved much more than they in relation to last season when they were knocked out at the same stage by Inter. And as long as everyone's fit and you've got the likes of Michael Olise and Harry Kane and Luis Diaz playing at their usual level, they've got a serious chance to do it this time.
Ralf, one quick one. Who do you fancy? Because Paris are beginning to shine again, aren't they? And Barcelona last night proved up front how good they are with these youngsters who are full of talent. Who do you fancy to win it this year, Ralf?
It's really difficult because from the teams you mentioned, only one plus Barcelona can make it into the final the way that the draw works out. So I don't know. I still like PSG. I think PSG for me favourites along with Arsenal to make the final.
Ralf, have a great weekend coming up. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ralf.
Thank you.
Beautiful part of the world, Munich. I've only driven through it a couple of times. Beautiful.
I played there, but you know what it's like when you're playing football.
You don't see it.
You don't even look out the window of the bus.
It's on the way to Austria. If you're going to skiing in Austria and you're driving, you go down that way. It's stunning.
Yeah,
Black Forest and beautiful.
He's doing well, Olise.
He's a good player.
Isn't he?
He's
banging him in on fire.
Yeah. Right, speaking next to another top German coming up, former Liverpool, Man City, Newcastle and Bayern midfielder Didi Hamann joins us in a tick. Coming up to 8 o'clock.
Manchester United legend Nicky Butt has recently come out saying the club must give Bruno Fernandes anything he wants, is the quote, in order to keep him there amid continued links to Saudi Arabia. Fernandes, for me, Gabby, has been absolutely tremendous. He's now just 4 assists off the Premier League record and continues to prove just how important he is to that Manchester United side. He has, mate, you can say what you like, and myself and a few others, I wasn't necessarily happy with him with some of the throwing the hands up and all that stuff. You know, it's probably maybe a more European thing or a foreign thing that they do. And there was things like that you know, would probably annoy me a little bit if I was a teammate of his. However, by far and away, the most important thing is his ability on the pitch and how he's handled it. And I think he's been, if not the one constant in Manchester United,
100%.
You know, he's been tremendous, mate, hasn't he?
And I'm scared to think where Manchester United would have been over the last 5 years, and especially this season, without Bruno Fernandes. 27 Premier League appearances, Ali, 7 goals, 16 assists.
Wow.
No matter how bad they've been, he's turned up. But I said this in a previous show, Ali, a few months ago. He's 32 in September.
Yep.
He's won 1 FA Cup, 1 League Cup for Manchester United.
Yep.
Could he leave Manchester United one day and look back and say, did I waste my best years at Manchester United? Not because you look at someone like De Bruyne, won it all at Manchester City. But Bruno Fernandes, he's that good, deserves to leave the Premier League, winning the Premier League, and also Champions League. For me, he's that good, Ali.
What football ground are you thinking of when someone says this?
Really tough place to go. Difficult place to go. Such a tough place to go.
It's a tough place to go at the moment.
It was a really difficult place to go, always.
But what are the toughest places to go, really? We've scoured the planet to find out. Forget a cold, wet Tuesday night in Stoke. Try playing in a blizzard 220 miles inside the Arctic Circle at the world's northernmost professional club. When Chelsea lost at Tromsø in Norway in the 97-98 Cup Winners' Cup, a massive snowstorm hit at half-time. These two boys and their brooms were absolutely no match for it. We're staying in Scandinavia for Scotland's toughest away day on a windswept cliff in the Faroe Islands. In Euro 2000 qualifying, Craig Brown's men were taken to fishing village Toftir. Kevin Gallagher called the pitch a cow field and the wind like Pitodry on a bad day. The Faroe Islands part-timers equalised in stoppage time, leading to these absolute scenes, and still one of Scotland's most embarrassing results.
Daft little ground, silly game.
But away trips don't come any tougher than a lung-busting schlep up the Andes to face Bolivia in La Paz. But now the Bolivians have taken home advantage to another level. The country's highest city, El Alto, 4,100 metres above sea level. Grass doesn't even grow up here. Bolivia have not lost here yet. The longest unbeaten run in any professional league ever belongs to Red Star Belgrade, or Crvena Zvezda if you must. They've gone 7 years without defeat at the Rajko Mitic in Serbia's Superliga. Their fans are pretty intimidating as well, but they're not as loud as this mob. Galatasaray's Ali Sami Yen Stadium's officially the loudest in world football. In a derby with Fenerbahce, Galatasaray fans set a Guinness World Record of 131 decibels. That's louder than Motorhead, and pretty tough to carry out your manager's instructions when you can't even hear them. However, our most intimidating away day is in Wales, where cameras can't enter and players can't leave. HMP Prescoed. This prison team was briefly kicked out the Gwent League over concerns about young opposition having to go in there. Now that's a tough place to go.
Early June 1939, Germany, always a tough place to go to.
8 morning, talkSPORT breakfast with Arnold Clark's rewards event. Save up to £500 on thousands of cars. Dean, the storyteller Saunders with me. On the way for you this morning, are we starting to see encouraging signs? Oh, be steady, from Tottenham. Will it be enough to keep them in the Premier League? We're going to be asking these questions and more. We're joined by former Tottenham midfielder Gus Poyet. We're going to be reviewing that demolition of Newcastle's second half with a man who knows the successful end of the spectrum with the club, two-time FA Cup winner and Premier League runner-up with Newcastle. Steve Howe will be with us, and we'll be touching base with Mr. McCoist to find out where he was out and about last night. I fear it was Liverpool. All that and more, but now Liverpool have booked a quarter-final tie. What a game this will be. We'll hold us PSG. Arne Slot was a man under pressure before last night, and in White and Jordan yesterday, former Reds midfielder Danny Murphy reminded us all of one man who is currently looking for work.
I don't think that way the hierarchy worked, they'd get rid and do something drastic. The only caveat to that is Alonso is free. And there could be some logic in saying, if they're going to do it in the summer, why not do it now?
Do you know what? It's a good shout, Danny. Alonso. Who's he waiting for?
I'm undecided. You know, the biggest mistake Arne Slot's made, and I don't know whether it was in his hands, but they've let 8 players go and 33 goals. Diaz, Nunez, and unluckily Jota, who's passed away. But between them last season, they scored 33 goals. They've lost that. Kelleher's gone. Quansah. Trent's gone. Harvey Elliott. So they've lost a lot of players who would be getting a game now. The squad's not as good. Then he brought 6 players in who were trying to gel. They're all playing for themselves at the start, trying to hold their head above water. And then he's changed the style of football a little bit by tippy-tappying it around. And Salah's not playing like he was. So there's a bit of mitigating circumstances. But Liverpool don't change their manager until it's absolute dire straits.
Yeah,
they're known for it.
No, I agree. Steve Howe, of course, is an FA Cup runner-up. God, not a winner. Sorry, guys. Whoa. Who's writing this? Idiot production team. Let's speak to a man who lifted the 2005 Champions League. Xavi Alonso, of course, one of his teammates in Istanbul. That famous night. Didi Haman, a very, very good morning. Didi, morning.
Morning, Didi.
Morning, Al. Morning, Dean.
Didi, I think you said before the game it's vital they go through tonight, but even if they do so, I'm not sure Arne Slot will still be the manager for next season. The fans seem to lose faith in the manager, or seem to have lost faith in the manager and the team. Do you still believe that? Because he was all over the place last night, wasn't he, Slot? He was punching the air and he was very animated. The most I've seen him.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there were scenes we haven't seen of him before. He was always very cool and calm on the touchline. He wasn't yesterday because he probably knew what's on the line. I don't think we found out an awful lot about Liverpool yesterday. We know on their day they can be as good as anyone, but they played against a desperate team yesterday. It was truly dreadful what Galatasaray showed at Anfield. Obviously, Osimhen gets injured after 8 or 9 minutes, refuses to come off, so they pretty much played with 10 men the first half. And it was one-way traffic, and obviously the important week start now. They've got, that FA Cup game. They play Paris now, and obviously they have to finish in the top 5. And I agree with Murph. I think it's far from certain that he's a manager next season because the football so far has been below par for too long.
Didi, I was going to ask you about the midfield situation because Gravenberch played better last night. McAllister played a bit better as well. He had a goal disallowed, but Szoboszlai's been probably the best player throughout. How difficult is it playing in midfield when you actually don't know the pattern of play? Because Liverpool, to me, have changed the pattern of play. So when you try and get on the end of second balls, you're on your way towards the back four as the ball's going forward. I don't know what you think.
Obviously it helps if you do know what the defenders do. But you mentioned the players they lost in the summer. I think the biggest loss of Liverpool, well, I think the biggest problem for Liverpool this season has been that they didn't control games. They didn't control it without the ball and they didn't control it with the ball. And I think they conceded so many chances. It also takes a bit of efficiency of your forward players because as a forward player, if you know you've got a settled defence and a good holding midfielder, if you lose the ball, there won't be nothing happening because they will look after after the opposition's attack, and I think that's been the biggest problem. Obviously it helps when you know what the players do, but I think the biggest problem has been all of the players who left in the summer is probably Alexander-Arnold, because he was a playmaker from right back, came inside sometimes, and I think that technical ability and the passing ability, I think they've been missed an awful lot. Not many people wanted to say it or want to say it because of the way he did leave the club, but I think Alexander-Arnold has been badly missed this season.
Yeah. I agree.
Didi, listen, he got a cracking goal, missed a penalty, but I don't know what's happened to Mo. I really don't, because his standards were so high, scored some unbelievable goals, had amazing games for Liverpool. This season, I don't know what's happened. Is he carrying an injury, or is something, what's gone wrong?
Well, I think it's just natural, Ali. He's in his 30s now, and if you lose half a yard or a yard as a centre forward or a winger, it makes it an awful lot harder. And he found it hard to score goals from open play since last Christmas. So this is going back, 15 or 16 months. Even back end of last season, he found it hard to score goals from open play.
Yeah,
he won't become a better player now. And I think they've got to make a call on him, because if you look at Liverpool now, for all their, there's many reasons why things didn't really work out. You've got Salah, who's clearly not in the form he was 4 or 5 years ago, and probably never will be again, because it's just a natural thing that in your 30s that you regress. And on the other hand, you've got Florian Wirtz, hugely talented player. Obviously, he showed glimpses again yesterday, but over the course of the season, it wasn't enough. So out of 3 forward players, you've got 2 players who've been pretty underwhelming this year. So you're left with Ekitike, who's been excellent all season, but he can't do it on his own.
Yeah. Interesting today, Didi, the Daily Mail are writing that Pep Guardiola would decide whether he wants to stay at City after the cup final. This is a big game, Pep against, the Arsenal at the weekend at Wembley. City have been so up and down as well this year. What do you make? Is Pep... Is this his last season? Do the body language, the way he talks to the press, the way his sides look to be in control, don't put teams to bed? What do you make of City?
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if it wasn't his last season, and potentially could be his last trip to Wembley. I think he will leave the club in the summer. He's been there a long time. It's been hugely successful. He got a lot of stick for the money they spent. I think he, over the course of his tenure, I think he handled it pretty well. But it's been a successful season, because in the Premier League, I think they competed every year, won it quite a few times. But everything comes to an end. And City, they brought some new players in. Obviously, they lost some key players over the last 3 or 4 years, and it's not hard to replace. I think it felt like when they lost to Madrid the other day, I think it felt like the end of an era. I think somebody else needs to come in and restructure their team. They brought a few new players in Reinders, in Cherki. Doku came in a couple of years back. Whether they're City players or whether they're City players who win the Premier League and the Champions League, I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
time will tell. But I think it could be emotional, because, as I said, potentially could be the last trip to Wembley with Manchester City, and it'll be huge on Sunday.
And did he, another team he played for, Newcastle, what did you make of that game last night? Was it the opposition being so good, or do you think Newcastle just self-destructed?
Yeah, probably a combination of both. We know what Barcelona is capable of, and I think what really, I think Eddie said it as well. The turning point, pretty much the penalty just before half time. If you go in at 2 each, you come out of the second half. If you nick a goal, you might have a chance to go through, but you go in 3-2 down, you score 2 goals, you're still behind at half time. And when you have to chase the game against these guys with the pace they've got up top, I think there's always a chance you end up, getting hit for 6 or 7. It shouldn't happen in the end. Does it really matter whether they lose 4-2, 7-2?
Yeah.
I don't think it matters too much. But having said that, it's still disappointing, because they played well in the last group game against Paris, nearly went into the last 8. They played well at home against Barcelona. And I just felt that there might be a chance to upset them yesterday. And in the end, if you look at the scoreline, it's been pretty disappointing.
Who wins it, Didi, now for you? It's a tricky one. Harry Kane still banging them in for Bayern. PSG,
Yeah.
Paris have suddenly found their mojo. It's going to be brilliant, this, Real Madrid. All the big boys are in there. Arsenal have a chance.
Yeah.
Who wins it, Didi?
Yeah, fantastic lineup last night. I just feel that Paris showed against Chelsea, even though they've been a bit fortunate in Paris with a 5-2 win. I don't think they were 2-3 goals better than Chelsea. They showed their class at Stamford Bridge. I just feel that when they do turn it on, they had Doué coming off the bench, Dembélé is back in the team. I just think they're better than everybody else. And I know they won it last. The expectations will be they won it again. I just think that they are a little bit better than everybody else. For me, it's Paris.
Yeah, brilliant. Didi, great to talk again. Thank you.
Thanks, Didi.
Didi, a man there.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
The voice of former Liverpool midfielder and Champions League winner, don't forget, Didi. Now, Liverpool fans, do you get all of the criticism of Slot now? Can you win the Champions League? Did Mo show last night he still can do it as one of the best players in Europe, or has he lost his mojo? Give us a call, let us know what your thoughts. 03717 22 3344. The lines are open.
I mean, many notes of caution coming in at this stage. Sam, Thierry Henry, he was saying, I was there when Rooney did it, and when someone told me he was going to have the career that he had, I would have said, well, maybe. He says, it's a challenge not just for Arsenal, but for English football. Let's not get overexcited. I mean, there's an element of, hang on, let's just be careful with this boy.
Yeah, I mean, you should be careful with all young players. I mean, ironically, they've got another kid coming through in the under-13s called Luis Muniz, who's potentially even better than Max Dellman. They've got a conveyor belt of these kids coming out of Arsenal for some reason or another. But insofar as he is concerned, listen, if they can shut out the background noise. I mean, I saw his father having a go at a coach, and it seems to me that there's a very strong family unit, as there was a strong family unit around Jude Bellingham.
Yeah.
So if you can get the right people around you, the biggest challenge for this kid is that he is not distracted from his football and does not have the wrong voices around him that are creating chaos between him and the club, him and opportunities commercially and all that sort of stuff. Get him wrapped around the right sort of people. He's in a big club. One of the best things of being a good player in a big club is that big clubs don't... If you're a young player, it's a superstar in a smaller club. I had it with Victor Moses. I had it with other players that were really significant players. And there's always the bigger clubs are circling around. There ain't many bigger clubs than Arsenal. So with due respect, they've got him in the right space because they're a big football club. So there's no necessity for him to leave that football club. I know we've seen Cole Palmer leave at early stage in his development to go to Chelsea because he couldn't get...
was nice, the party was pumping. And everybody having a ball. Until the fellas
8:22, right, here we go. Now, of course, that was Who Let the Dogs Out by, who's it? Bahaman. Why are we playing it? Well, as we've heard from talkSPORT's Sinead Garvin, cockapoos have been getting a lot of stick this morning. I'm not having this. There's more cockapoos out there. Poodle crossbreeds are on average more troublesome than their purebred parents. That's according to the Royal Vet College, who studied more than 9,000 dogs. It found despite the popularity, cockapoos were more aggressive, fearful and anxious than their Cocker Spaniel and Poodle parents. I am not having this. My dog is so alert. He is so loving. He watches the kids everywhere. When my grandkids come round, he'll follow them, make sure they're okay. I'm not having this. I know.
Right, let's go through it then. Right, so it's a crossbreed poodle.
He's poodle and spaniel.
So what was spaniel?
You get the brains from the poodle.
Brains from the poodle.
Yeah.
And then the spaniel. What aren't they bred to catch?
They're gun dogs. Yeah.
So they're like retriever, they go and get
similar. Yeah. They'll go. They'll
athletic.
Well, they will dive in lakes and swim across to get to a downed bird. But my boy, old Hugo, no, he don't like the water. Take him down the beaches like get lost.
So you got a clever workaholic if you breed them both.
He is clever. He quite loves his mum.
But does it bark non-stop?
No.
That drives you mad, doesn't it?
No, of course it does. No, he doesn't. But guard dog, brilliant.
What if someone moves? If the Amazon
someone comes down my drive, he hears him. I'm like, what's up with him? He hears like you can't believe.
Does he? How old is he?
Yeah, huh?
How old is he?
He's 6.
All right.
Yeah.
So they live till they're about 15, don't they?
I don't say that, Dino.
Well,
no, don't be saying that.
No, I'm just saying this.
Hugo's listening.
He's got another 9 years left. Well, I think, honestly, and I mean this, they should bring out something. I think they've done something recently. They should bring out a price list when you walk in the vets. Because what they do, you get in there, you walk in with 100 quid, you end up with a £4.5 grand bill.
You can't even buy a lead for that.
No, and because you love the dog more than anything,
you do it.
You do it.
You'll borrow it. You loan it.
It's a disgrace.
Yeah.
Vet bills.
But he's a very, very loving dog, friendly face, unlike our next guest. He needs to grow his hair and grow his ears a little bit. Let's get latest odds with Coral, and here comes John Hill.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Here he is, our very own Jack Russell. Hey up, John.
John,
Good
had nothing
morning,
to do with
boys.
that, John.
That's quite a welcome. It's quite a welcome, I have to say.
Oh dear, I didn't mean that. Honestly, I was hoping it was Steve or Simon. They were going to get it.
Too.
Speaking of hair transplant, Cundy's having one.
Well, you can't say that.
To John.
I never said
You
you're
did?
out of order.
No, you mentioned his barnet.
I did not. John, did I say anything about your hairline?
You didn't, Al. No.
Thank
you. Didn't,
you.
To be fair.
Sorry about that, John.
No, we're all friends. We're all friends.
I'll get the number for you off Cundy.
Right, where do we start? Champions League.
Shall we start Champions League?
Yeah,
yes.
it's got to be.
Well, look, there were some big results last night, were there? Liverpool getting through against Galatasaray. Bayern Munich, impressive again. They've been cut to 3-1 for the title from here. But Arsenal sit top of the tree. We mentioned it yesterday, this quadruple that they're obviously going for. They're now 9-4 to win this Champions League. And if you look at the draw, couldn't have gone out any better for them, could it? Sporting Lisbon, without being disrespectful to those, you'd be very happy playing them in the quarterfinals. So Arsenal 9-4 favourites from here, guys. Bayern Munich 3-1, Barca 5-1, PSG 11-2, Real Madrid 15-2. So all the big guns are there, aren't they? Going for this.
Brilliant, John. But before I forget, by the way, you might have a little trip to the Ryder Cup in a few years.
Yes,
Bolton have gone for the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic for Greater Manchester, wouldn't it? And 2035, we've got a long way into there. But the Ryder Cup's brilliant, isn't it? The atmosphere, obviously, that it generates. We get stick over there when we play the Americans, and we'll give it back over here. So, yeah, that would be fantastic. Let's keep our fingers crossed for that.
And if Glastonbury have another break to let the fields and that, then they could have Glastonbury and Rochdale, couldn't they?
Well, why not? Well, listen, we're very hospitable. We welcome anybody in Rochdale, and we've got some good chippies, as I always say, so nobody will be short of food up there. But yeah, fantastic news.
Villa against Lille. Now, Villa have fallen off a cliff, but
they have.
They can beat Lille, can't they?
Well, I think so. Well, the odds suggest that they will do. They're 1-9 to qualify from this tie. Lille are 5-1, so firm favourites. And top of the betting, Aston Villa in the Europa League, 21-10 to win the competition. And we know Unai Emery's the master of winning the Europa League. He's won it 5 times, I think, with Sevilla. And, they've got a great chance of some silverware. So as bad as it has been for them in the Premier League, Dino, great chance in Europe here.
Yeah, and it's a tough place to go in Europe. Aston Villa, when you go to Villa Park now, they don't really slip up too often, but the manager knows what he's doing.
He does,
and if you'd gone to sleep for 6 months and you woke up this morning, you'd say, where are Villa? Where are they? Fifth in the league, sixth, and they're in the latter stages of this tournament. And I would say Lille would be probably top half of the championship if they were playing, so they should beat them.
Oof.
Brilliant. Well, that's exciting.
John, what about the excuse me? What about Wembley the weekend? Arsenal City, cracking game.
It is a cracking game, and we mentioned that quadruple. Arsenal now 14-1 for that. That's astonishing, isn't it? When you think at the start of the season they'd have been 250-1. So in terms of lifting this trophy, very little between the two sides in the betting. Arsenal just favourites at 4-6. City shade of odds against at 11-10. So they'll be licking their wounds, City, won't they? They'll be disappointed by that Champions League exit. A chance to get some silverware. We know Pep likes this competition. You know, he's taking it seriously throughout his reign as City manager. So it's all to play for. I think it's a very much a toying cost myself here, guys.
John, just a quickie. Grand National entry, not long away.
No.
The third horse in the Gold Cup. JP McManus says, what price?
Well, it's obviously at the moment Willie Mullins is dominating the betting. Grange Clare West and Iron Maximus 8-1 joint favourites. Which horse are you talking about? Sorry,
in the Gold Cup came third.
I'm trying to think what it was now.
JP's
been a week. JP says I'll have to come back to you on that one. I don't have it on my list. But at the top,
I tell you what, I did watch yesterday. Nick Rocket running Ireland.
Yes.
I know it was a shorter trip.
It since last year. Yeah.
And it finished second, but what odds is Nick Rocket to win it again?
Well, he's 20-1, and he needed that run to qualify. He had to run over fences by 25th of March, so that was quite important for him. He's 20-1. We know history suggests it's hard to defend the crown of the Grand National, but you'd never rule out a Willie Mullins runner. But I've just got it up now. I know the way you're thinking. That's the horse you're talking about there. That's the aptly named horse, isn't it? That's 33-1 in the Grand National.
Well, he was finishing strong. He was running through the line.
He was.
I just thought, might be an each way bet.
Well, JP McManus has won it 3 times, hasn't he, already? And he'll have plenty of chances, won't he, this year? He loves the races, JP. So, look, it's always great, the Grand National, wide open as the betting suggests. And there'll be a cracking crowd there at Aintree across the 3 days, no doubt.
Right, brilliant. That was a look at the latest odds with our very own little dash hound with John Hills with Coro 18+, gamblerware.org.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18+, gamblerware.org.
Ruben Amorim was a winning manager, but clearly not the right fit for Man United, irrespective of the fact he was a European winning manager because he won the Portuguese league.
Right.
So I'm kind of with Roy, but in the...
You're with Roy in a certain way. I mean, he's not doing anything to rule himself out of contention.
No, but also what Roy's picture is trying to extrapolate it. And I know there's a lot of cash here around Steve Holland and so on and so forth, but he was part of the England setup that flattered to deceive, that didn't win anything when they could have done. So whilst he might be an excellent coach, we're still looking at a bunch of people, with respect of being Michael Carrick being an elite footballer, that, as from a management point of view, have got what on their resume? So it's part of the conversation, not the only part of it. But if Carrick goes to the end of the season and United finish third, or even, dare I say it, catch City and finish second, then there's going to be a clamour of people suggesting that he's proven himself, that he's had 18, 19 games, and out of that 18, 19 games, or however many he's had, he's done X, Y, Z. I mean, they are far better for him being there, but that's because common sense has prevailed. You haven't got a manager that seems to want to riddle himself into cul-de-sacs and play a group of players that can't play the way he wants them to play. You've got a manager that's ultimately under no real pressure, because everyone thinks that United were... The pressure will come now. Now United are third. Now the pressure's now, because everyone's going to expect... United fans are going to go, you better finish inside the top four now, because you're there now.
But yeah, I take on board what Simon's saying, Martin, but if he secures Champions League football for United, what exactly is going to rule him out?
Yeah,
What's going to rule him
I get it. I do. Roy's a respected voice, and I do take the point that this group, pretty well the same group of players, finished quite low down the table.
It's not often you associate fan power with Chelsea Football Club, but one of the shining examples of it lies with a group called the Chelsea Pitch Owners. And they've proved to be the thorn in the side of owners past and present who've been dead set on moving stadiums to a larger, more lucrative piece of land. Essentially, the supporters group holds the freehold to the land on which Stamford Bridge sits. Former owner Ken Bates set it up at a time where some unruly property developers tried to evict the club from their ground. In order to prevent this, he established the CPO as a company that owned the pitch and offered the fans the chance to buy a share for £100. As well as that, they also own the rights to the name Chelsea Football Club, so if any owner wants to take them elsewhere, they can't be called Chelsea without the approval from the CPO. Now, in 2011, Roman Abramovich tried and failed to move them away from Stamford Bridge, and this has set a precedent for Todd Bowley and the current power brokers at Chelsea. They know any plan which involves moving from Stamford Bridge will require CPO approval from the now 13,000 fans who own it. There are fans who are concerned that if they stay at the bridge, they'll be left behind their domestic and European rivals who are moving to more commercially successful stadiums. But for the heritage and history lovers, Stamford Bridge is one of the iconic English stadiums, and to move away would be a grave mistake. It might not be as flashy as others, but stadiums like it have something about them that cannot be replaced. One thing's for sure, if Bowley wants to take Chelsea away from their home, he'll have to go through the CPO first.
No one mentions this.
Yeah, go on.
If you appoint 4 managers.
Yeah.
Like Forest, 4 managers in a year. The bloke who's appointed them, how come he never gets sacked?
I know.
4 bad decisions. Probably, just call it 5 million compensation for every manager.
Each, yeah.
So you've just cost the club 20 million.
Yeah.
Your bad choice of manager. If you sack him after 8 games, so if
it's got to be director of football, isn't it?
Well, yeah, fine. How come they never get sacked?
No idea.
So if you appoint Tudor, and after 4 games you sack him, you've made a horrendous mistake for the company. Shouldn't you be sacked instead?
There's a lot of people who would agree with you, Dino, definitely.
Yeah, they get away with it.
I know, we're in the wrong job.
Well, you're not. I've done the management bit. I'm not. Since I've been doing this job on the radio, I've never made a bad substitution, never missed a chance, never hit a bad pass. It's easy sitting here.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark Rewards event. Get £500 off your next car this week only. Now, it's been a tough week for Spurs and Chelsea, both crashing out of the Champions League. Chelsea went out 8-2 on aggregate to Paris Saint-Germain. And John Terry, JT did not hold back, saying, no matter who you are or what team you're playing for, you just don't lose 8-2 over 2 legs. Meanwhile, Spurs claimed the first win under interim boss Igor Tudor, beating Atleti 3-2 on the night, but it wasn't enough. They went out 7-5 on aggregate. Tudor said victory was a step in the right direction ahead of, what a game. Huge game against Forest this Sunday.
The feeling are mixed, of course. We are out, but in the same way as you said, was like sensation of one very good team in the pitch. One very good performance of the players. Energy, as you said before, was really nice. From first moment, they recognize that the team will try to do everything what they can do. So from first moment until last moment, they were with us. In football, you need to confirmation every day, every Sunday. So there is on Sunday important game, as we know, but it will not decide nothing yet. As I said before, it will be decide everything last 2-3 games, I believe.
You got Tudor there beating Atleti 3-2 on the night. Not enough, though. Right, let's bring in the man who won the FA Cup with Chelsea. Also played over 80 times for Spurs. Gus Poyet joins us again. Gus, morning, Gus.
Morning, Gus.
Good morning, James. How are you?
Very good, Gus. Gus, what John Terry was saying there, a lot of people would agree you cannot go out 8-2 on aggregate. We know Paris is very good, but crikey, Chelsea also a big football club. How surprised were you that PSG just blew Chelsea away?
Well, it's what you wouldn't expect nowadays. I would say that this morning it should be a big announce in England, Premier League, looking for defenders who would like to defend first, and then maybe play from the back, pass the ball, have good technique, have good attitude. But first, if they can defend, because it's a lack of defensive desire, unfortunately, in football nowadays, that is being put into place yesterday with not only with Chelsea, with Newcastle, with everybody. So it's too many goals conceded, and let's not try to say that all the teams, they are outstanding going forward, because they are not. Okay, they are not. It's just a matter that you concede a goal and everything goes out of the blue, and nobody defends anymore.
Yeah.
It becomes like a chaos, and that's not what John Terry, especially JT, will feel as a proper, massive, incredible defender.
And just to reiterate what you've said there, Gus, who's got the best 2 centre-halves in the Premier League at the moment? Arsenal. And the rocks they build from there, they are rocks at the back. Great defenders.
Well, to be honest, I've been paying attention a lot to that, because Arsenal as well is taking risk at the back, and it stays a lot 1-1 at the back. But I think the positioning, the aggressivity, the way they read the game, the ball, not to go in the other side, especially of Gabriel at the back, is outstanding. And that's why they are the best one defending. Even if they take risk, and sooner or later, maybe in a game they're gonna concede a few goals. With any doubt, that way of defending is suit better the player from Arsenal than any other team. I mean, if you see yesterday, I think it was the the second or the fourth of Barcelona, which is just a 1-2, a third man running, and he's running 40 yards in front of the goalkeeper. Those situations will make coaches crazy, really, because you try to organize your team defensively. Then you can give him freedom to play, especially the quality players. But in terms of defending, that is part of your job, really. And we see too many goals. So, I think it's the moment. The game goes that way. And unfortunately, for the fans, it's great. Not for the home fans of Chelsea the other day. But unfortunately, for the coaches, it's a nightmare at the moment.
Gus, I agree with you on that defensive situation. If you can't defend 1v1, you shouldn't be playing at that level for a start. And then I was going to ask you, the scoreline looks really bad, but you've managed lots of teams, I've managed lots of teams, and we used to be able to say, when we were losing, well, look, we'll put a load of attacking players on. If we get beat 4, we get beat 4. We've lost anyway. But at least we'll have a go for it. But when you do that against PSG, there is a chance you're going to get hammered, but now you get sacked.
Yeah.
Whereas you used to be able to just say, well, we went for it and we got beat 4.
Yes, I agree with you totally. It's a problem, and really, sometimes you don't know why it's better for everyone. Why it's better for the club, why it's better for the fans, why it's better for you personally. Because at the end, like you said, you pay the price getting sacked. I think it's instincts. I think the best way in football, and probably you will agree, is to have a good balance. Be a decent defending team, making it difficult for the opposition, trying not to concede too many goals, every now and then keeping a clean sheet, and then being a good team offensively with your arms, what you have. I mean, how many teams in the world are good enough to defend every game 90 minutes man-to-man? Maybe 1, maybe 2. And everybody defends man-to-man. Why? Because that's a way to find a job. You go there, you lie, you say, yeah, I defend man-to-man, hard pressing, possession, offensive, tactic football, blah, blah, blah. They give you the job. And then you lose 7-2. It doesn't matter. Well, it does matter to me. It does matter to me. I think we need to go back to basics first. Football is about basics first, and then see what you have to play in a certain way or what you convince the players to play. But we lost completely the basics of football. They're gone. They're gone in pose of what some owners want and what the coach needs to produce. Nothing else.
Yeah. Gus, a quick one on Tottenham. What a game this is. How important. This is massive. Spurs against Nottingham Forest. Massive game.
World Cup final. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, yes. I know what Tudor said, and I respect his opinion. There is more games, but this one is massive. And with this mix of emotion that he said in the press conference, you have your first win yesterday, but you're out. So I don't know how the players will take it. If they take it in a positive manner, great for Sunday. If they take it that they lost because they're out, who knows if it's good or bad.
Yeah. No, it's massive. Gus, listen, have a great weekend again.
Thanks, Gus.
Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Gus.
Thank you.
Ciao. Right, here we go. Coming up on Breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Benchmarks Kitchens and Joinery. Get trade prices on kitchens to suit all styles and budgets at Benchmarks.
When your tires are flat,
let's get in there. A man who, to try and keep Gabby out of Mayfair, former Villa captain Stilin Petrov, but was to look ahead to a huge night for Unai Emery's Villa, who face Lille live on talkSPORT tonight. And will Eddie Howe still be Newcastle boss by the end of the season? I hope so. But Adrian Durham's not too convinced.
When you get absolutely hammered, the manager has to at least offer his resignation. Now, whether that's accepted by the Newcastle board or not, that's what Eddie Howe has to do.
I don't agree with that.
Adrian will join us around 9 o'clock. Be interesting to listen at half-time. I understand Adrian at the end of the game. Wow. But at half-time, I couldn't get enough of this game. I thought it was a great game.
No, and like I just said, sometimes you go for it. You think, we'll leave the back door open. We got to get back in this game, and you end up getting beaten 5 or 6 or 7. It's not really what's happened in the game.
No,
the scoreline looks terrible.
Okay, coming up to travel, that was our preview with our good friends at Travis Perkins. Coming up 8:45.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. With 250 hire branches nationwide, it's easy to hire at Travis Perkins.
Is getting it tonight. A shocking week for the Chelsea.
What do you mean?
Pumped. They got slapped by PSG.
What do you mean?
Got slapped by Newcastle. And then got slapped with a transfer ban.
What do you mean?
It's been a slapping week. Slap, 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 slap. Chelsea, slap. Get your calls in, you want to have your say. 03 717 22 33 44.
Do you know what's amazing? Before the game, it wasn't me. We had a meeting with the referee. My assistant goes in. The first thing he talks about is our huddle.
Chelsea 0, Newcastle 1. It's just one straight long pass through the middle. It really is awful defending from Chelsea. And when Murphy lays the ball off, there is Anthony Gordon literally to walk the ball home.
My players made a decision that they wanted to be around the ball, to respect the ball.
What signs have you seen? I've seen signs. What signs? Encouraging signs.
What's happening?
Hello, mate.
How are you?
I'm all right. I've had better weeks.
Yeah? What happened?
Not gonna lie.
What happened?
Do you know when you know things are bad? Is where Spurs pick up a point and got beat by 5-2 in the middle.
Don't worry about me, mate.
And you lot have had a better week than Chelsea.
Don't worry about us. What happened at Chelsea,
That's
mate?
when you know things are bad.
What's happened?
You know, it happens, mate. Bad weeks happen.
No.
That's a bad week.
Okay, 8:52. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Dino and me, Alan Brazil. Right, it's well documented. Our good friend Alistair, Alli McCoist, is constantly on the road, jumping between countries, whether it be a plane, a train, Scotland and the talkSPORT studio. He's everywhere. Well, last night he was up at Anfield watching Liverpool's dispatching of Galatasaray to win the tie 4-1 in aggregate. Let's bring in the man now. Ali! Morning, Ali.
Morning, Ali.
Very good morning, Al. Morning, Dino. How are you, boys?
Oh, good. Did you enjoy, how did you enjoy the game? Great. It sounded great atmosphere, mate. I was listening.
Well, absolutely tremendous, lads. I think that's the best I've seen Liverpool this season. I'm interested. I don't see them obviously every week, but coming off the disappointing result against Tottenham, they certainly needed a reaction, lads, and boy, did they get it. I mean, listen, Stephen McMahon was quite right. He said Galatasaray were poor, and to a certain degree they were, but taking nothing away from Liverpool. Do you know, I thought they were fantastic. I thought the quality of goal was superb, and I just thought from start to finish, only one team in it, and it was almost a perfect night for Arne Slot and Liverpool and their fans.
No, I agree, Ali. I thought they got the ball forward quicker. They looked forward first instead of going sideways, and the pressing was back. You know, they were winning second balls. The midfield players were getting on any long balls that the fullback beat Salah in the end dropped. They were on it, putting him back in. And I'm pleased he scored, Salah, because his form's not been what it has in the past.
No, it was an important goal for him as well. Dino obviously missed the penalty. And you're right, hasn't looked himself. Two things, you're spot on with the pressing. I mean, from Ekitike, Wirtz, right in the first couple of minutes, they were bang at it. The tempo of the game was right up. They looked all over the case, and I thought it was funny actually, but it was rather than fitting. I know he missed the penalty, but what a way to get your 50th Champions League goal, mate! What a goal! Yeah. He plays it in the Wirtz, takes a wee touch round, and it was just a Salah finish, wasn't it? That's what we know he does.
Do you know,
he whips it with that left foot into that corner, mate.
Do you know what, Ali? You played for Rangers, right, all your career, massive club, and Liverpool's the same. They don't allow you to walk in their half with the ball. When you play at Anfield, you go on to the goalkeeper, go on, try and play out from the back against us. All the best. Yeah. And Liverpool, that's what they've been doing over the years, but they stopped doing it and it's back, hopefully.
They just looked at their own selves, you know, they really did. I've got to say, Aldo, I was just talking to Ollie there before I came on. I was at the Arsenal. I've been lucky, 2 great games and 2 brilliant performances from the English teams. But what about this for a start, boys? Have a think about this. The English sides, they got knocked out, right? Chelsea, Newcastle, what was it? Tottenham and who was it again? Spurs. Was it Spurs? Who's the other one? Chelsea, Newcastle, Spurs, Man City, right? Between them, 28 goals they lost over the 4 games. Now, unless my maths has lost it, that's an average of 7 a team, 3.5 a game. That's appalling.
Yeah.
20 goals between the 4 teams, boys.
Funny you should say that. Gus Poyet's just been on. He made the exact same point. Any Premiership sides now must go and buy proper defenders.
We've stopped making defenders, Ali. What we make now is people who can play out from the back and then maybe defend part-time.
Correct.
Ali, I'm worried about the time here. So let me kick on a little bit here. Eddie Howe, you might not have seen it yet, but the Newcastle game was brilliant. Barcelona, I loved it. Yeah. I couldn't get enough of it at half-time. And then it went pear-shaped. Of course it did. But Adrian was getting a bit animated, as he does, and he said, that's it, Eddie's got a hand in his resignation. I'm like, whoa. It was some game, by the way. I mean, some game. Yeah. And also, Pep, we're hearing today that Pep will make up his future, his mind up, after the cup final at the weekend. Are they premature here, both of them? If that's, I don't think Eddie's going to do it anyway, but...
No, I mean, it ended up a horrendous night for Newcastle. I was the same as you, mate. I sat and watched it before the Liverpool game. Couldn't take my eyes off it, mate. First half in particular. I mean, it was just end-to-end stuff. But we knew that the way it was going to be. You know, with Barcelona with a high line, you know, with Newcastle with the pace, with Italian Barcelona have got in front areas. I think we had a fair idea that was the kind of game it was going to be. Unfortunately, second half went sour for Newcastle. Bad result. But listen, from where I'm standing, everybody just calm down. You know, I think Newcastle and Eddie, last night, second half aside, are absolutely fine. I know they'll be disappointed with no Champions League football next year, but they've already won a cup last year. I think they're still work in progress for me, right? And I understand the clamour instantly when you get a result like that people say they're demanding heads, but not for me. I think Eddie will continue with Jason Tinner a good job up there, and I think so he should. Pep's different for me, guys. I don't know what you think. Be interested to hear what you think, Dino. I just think Pep's body language is different, mate. Not Pep, definitely Pep. His body language looks different. Dino, I'm not sure his heart's not in it, but it just didn't look the same animated coach.
No, I think he's put together a team of geniuses at Barcelona and at Bayern Munich and at Man City, geniuses who can play that style of football where they never lose the ball. And I think he's realised, I can't do this with this lot. And if you've got young players, like O'Reilly's going to be a good player. Valverde got a hat-trick and put straight balls over his head. Young defenders cost you against the best teams.
Yeah.
You can play youngsters up front, but the teams who win the Champions League, they haven't got young defenders playing who no experience. They get destroyed.
Yeah.
So Ali, what games you doing? Are you at Wembley? Excuse me. Are you Wembley now?
No, I'm not, mate. Very, very lucky. I've got a bit of time off, and then I know you're away next week, so I'm in next week. So I'm just going to chill, mate, and take a bit of time off. But I'll be watching the football. I'm really looking forward to the game of the week. Because, by the way, it's really interesting. You look at, for example, Spurs last night, and then we've got Forest again tonight. That game on Sunday's massive, absolutely massive. And then obviously we've got the cup final. I'm really intrigued to see how the cup final goes, because if Arsenal win it, Dino, I think the momentum is for one of these giant snowballs rolling down the hill, man. They're unstoppable at this moment in time. Yeah. And by the way, we're talking about the quality of goal last night, Dino. What about the quality of goal on Tuesday? Declan Rice's finish was unbelievable, but we're not talking about that because it is a strike. Magic it was.
Yeah,
it's loads.
And Slobosly last night, what a strike. Ali, listen, safe journey. Safe journey, pal. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, boys. Lovely to talk to you. Have a great day, boys.
Well done.
Cheers, Ali.
There. Right. Coming up next, Adrian. Adrian, very strong in his views about Newcastle and Eddie Howe. We'll ask Adrian Durham whether he's convinced Eddie Howe's resignation letter has been written yet. That's coming up.
Chelsea handed a suspended transfer ban and fined £10.75 million after secret payments to players and unlicensed agents helped facilitate transfer deals in the Abramovich era. So many people are suggesting here this morning that Chelsea have, in their own eyes, got off with one. Of course, Stefan is with us, and in his words, Stefan, you have said you feel the punishment handed to Chelsea is extremely lenient. But Simon, can I put this to you? How isolated do you think this was? Illicit payments to players and agents to facilitate transfers. Was this just Chelsea?
I would doubt it. My nose tells me that it's not necessarily an industry standard practice, but notwithstanding that, I still think there's lots of people that operate in certain ways within football that I've seen and been privy to. And my nose tells me that it wouldn't be just isolated to Chelsea. I mean, the reaction to it, if I was in football now and it was my Crystal Palace had been, I remember getting promoted to the Premier League and been summoned to a meeting by Philip French, the head of comms, and Richard Scudamore to advise me how they expected me to behave in the Premier League, which I told them to blow them out their arse. So I would have probably been full of outrage at the same time as a balanced commercial mind, knowing that the big six are in part the value in the Premier League. So the balance between this outrage about their inappropriate behaviour would also be in the commercial reality of the value that they add to the league. So, I'd have a bit of both in my mind. But listen, inherently, the liabilities to operate in a certain way have to be governed and be enforced by those that are in positions of influence.
Everyone knows there are 20 managers in the Premier League, yeah? Well, actually, no. Around 3/4 of them are not managers. The terms manager and head coach are often used interchangeably to describe Premier League bosses, but they're actually two different jobs. So let's explain how and why. For years, fans referred to Mikel Arteta as Arsenal's manager, but I'm afraid technically...
I don't think so, no.
From his first day on the job, he was the Gunners' head coach. Let's pick a random moment in time, February 2025. Only 6 Premier League bosses actually held the official title of manager rather than head coach. Man City's Pep Guardiola, David Moyes of Everton, Ipswich boss Kieran McKenna, Southampton's Ivan Juric, Oliver Glasner at Crystal Palace and Leicester's Ruud van Nistelrooy were the only actual managers of their respective teams. Everyone else? That's right, head coach, including Ruben Amorim at Man United. He took over from Erik ten Hag, a man who had held the title of manager. Might come as a surprise that Amorim's appointment marked the first time ever that Man United had a head coach instead of a manager. But to understand why they made that decision, you also have to get what the difference is between a head coach and a manager. A manager's got a huge range of responsibilities. They're not just in charge of training and player lineups, they're also heavily involved in player sales and transfers. Critical stuff. But a head coach's role is far more focused on team training and performance on the pitch. So whereas Ten Hag was highly involved with decisions around transfers during his tenure, the intention was that Amorim wouldn't be, at least not on the same level. And as the sporting structure at Man United changed under Sir Jim Ratcliffe, people like Sir Dave Brailsford took charge of transfers instead. How all those roles play out in practice may be slightly different at different clubs though. On the other hand, the contracts of actual managers like Pep or Moyes had no limits on their job role and their involvement with transfers and contracts. But those guys are actually in the minority now, and it's a change that's happened pretty quickly. In 2019, there were only 6 head coaches in the Premier League, but by 2025, there were 14. A clear indication that more and more clubs are moving towards a model where the guy in charge is actually only really in charge on the pitch. And the way things are going, it might not be long before all 20 clubs have got head coaches, and the job position of football manager in the top flight is no more.
Got to be the one to tell you this. Your mate Ray Parlour.
What about him?
Ray, he said, I'm going to the bookies this afternoon. But I bet with Alan who's going to live the longest.
Oh, no.
He said, I'm going to collect.
He gives that all the time. Not the way he's going. He's called me a couple of times from Cheltenham. Dear, oh dear.
Oh, Ray.
I thought he was in a pre-season tour of Mars.
Yeah. He's a thoroughbred.
Couldn't talk.
Ah, what an athlete. Chiseled.
Great.
But he was collecting the money on you.
Was he?
Phoned the bookie up. He said, I think I've done Alan. I'm going to live longer than him.
Well, I'm about 15 years older than him, so he should do. Right, morning. talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark Rewards event. Save up to £500 on thousands of cars. Dino with me. Now, it was built up as the biggest night of Eddie Howe's career, but wow, it quickly turned into... It ended up, let me rephrase that, it ended up a nightmare.
Well, these are the nights Newcastle fans have waited for.
Well, as we played in the first half, and I thought we were outstanding in many aspects. We had too many individual errors within the performance.
And Elanga's there again! It's 2-2! 3 apiece on aggregate. It's been so much fun to watch. Organised chaos at its very best.
Brilliant football all round, end to end, defending optional.
Well, where next? In this extraordinary time.
I think our performance dropped. I think that was quite clear.
Corner from Rafinha. Lewandowski heads it in. It's all over now.
To what you would expect to be too far for Newcastle to come back from now.
Now they face embarrassment.
When you get absolutely hammered, the manager has to at least offer his resignation.
Yeah, I've got no problems picking myself up. It's more the players.
Rafinha's clear. A magnificent 7 for Barcelona.
But where do you start with that second half performance from the very first whistle?
Barcelona 7, Newcastle 2, 8-3 on aggregate.
Yep, that's right. On Eddie Howe's biggest night as Newcastle manager, they got thumped, battered in the second half at the hands of Barcelona. Very interesting listening to it. talkSPORT's voice of live football, Adrian Dunham, said after the game, when you get absolutely hammered, the manager has to offer his resignation. Craig Hope in the Mail suggested to us this morning that Adrian had finally unveiled himself as a Newcastle fan. Such was his passion. Well, I'm delighted to say Adrian joins us now. Adrian, a very good morning.
Good morning, Dean. Good morning, Alan. Good to see you both. I think Craig is responding actually to a text message I sent him last night, which he I don't think he appreciated. But there you go,
Adrian. Let me just say, let me give you my side of it, right?
Yeah.
I loved the game. The first half, I loved it. I couldn't wait for the second half, and then it all turned pear-shaped. But I understand what you're saying, but I wouldn't come out of that personally, because I thought if Newcastle can get one second half and score first, it's game on. But first half, I thought they were a threat. I thought they played well. I was loving this game as much as I've loved the game for a few months, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree with you totally on that. And actually, I was at the first leg as well. And they were they were decent. They were the better side in the first leg at St James Park. And last night, that first half was as good a first half of football from both sides as you wish to see. Alan, I totally agree with you on that. I didn't want it to end. I just wanted it to carry on in the same vein. But the reality is it didn't. That halftime team talk, I'd love to know what Eddie Howe said, because it clearly didn't work. They conceded 3 goals in 10 minutes at the start of the second half. He didn't change anything. The only sub he made in that 10 minutes was when Tonali went off injured, which is unfortunate, but you've got to be able to cope with that. And to concede those 3 goals in the manner they did. Look at the 4th goal. That's the first one in the second half, the Fermin Lopez goal. It's one pass from their own half into the centre circle, then one more first-time pass. Lopez is one-on-one, he's clean through and he scores. Now, you can admire the goal, and from Barcelona's point of view, it's brilliant. But even Eddie made it clear the defending was terrible. Dan Burn sucked into the centre circle, where Lamine Yamal has made easy work of him. So for that goal, I asked our co-commentator Dean Ashton whether that's on the players or coaches, and he said it's got to be coaching and the lack of preparation for the players in dealing with the opponents that they've got to deal with on the night. So that's why I'm looking at Eddie Howe.
Hey, if you look at the big picture, and you said Newcastle are going to get to the latter stages of the Champions League and get knocked out by Barcelona, that's what's happened. That scoreline has made everybody, like you've said, it's made everybody look at Eddie Howe and think, what are you doing? But I think if Barcelona played Newcastle 10 days on the bounce, they'd beat them 9.
Why would you say that?
Because they got better players than Newcastle.
Okay, let's assess that, because I thought that would be your answer. It's a humiliating defeat in the end. You lose 7-2 in any game at that level, that late in the tournament, round of 16. It's a humiliating defeat that needs looking at. Newcastle's season is effectively over. Now, you say they've got better players. Now, Newcastle's two big summer signings stayed on the bench for the whole game last night. They were expensive, Voltemada and Visser. I heard a caller on Sports Bar last night say it wasn't a game for those players. I'm sorry, what? Two attacking players. Newcastle needed goals, but apparently it's not a game for them. Can somebody ask Barcelona to play in a way which means Eddie can use the two big signings? It's Newcastle United. You can't waste money like Chelsea do and Man City do and Man United do. If you're Eddie Howe and you leave two players that cost well over £100 million on the bench for a game like that and you lose it 7-2, then you've got to be asking questions, yes, of the summer recruitment last year, but also of the manager's inability to use those players. So you can't come at me with they've got better players when he's left his two massive signings on the bench.
Adrian, ask yourself, who bought them players?
Like I say, you can ask the questions of the recruitment, but Eddie's got those players. Now, he's talked up Voltemada and said he can play in midfield, he can play up front, he can play out wide. So he's said all of these things. He admires this player. And he has a big say. We know that Eddie Howe has a big say in signings. Now, they may not have got their number 1 or number 2 targets last summer, but they brought those players in. You can't tell me that those players were brought in without Eddie Howe saying, yes, bring them in. Because we all know he has a big say in the signings. And if you're leaving them on the bench, surely questions have to be asked.
Ed, I know it's difficult when you try and defend a manager who's just let 7 goals in. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm just defending him a little bit. And it's difficult when you've lost 7. What is it, 7-2? Something like that, whatever, 7-3. But I think at the end of the game, if you leave Barcelona's front 4 against 3 defenders, they're going to destroy you. And so in Newcastle's sort of trying to get a goal back, they've ended up going ship. We've all been there. And the scoreline looks horrific. So they got Sunderland at the weekend. Put it behind you. Move on.
OK, well, let me ask you this, Dean. If Newcastle lose at home to Sunderland on Sunday, do you start asking questions then?
Well, yeah, I've actually studied in that technical area. It's a great game to be involved in, one of the best games I've ever been involved in, where Newcastle at St James's Park against Sunderland, all the staff at the club, all the fans, that's all they care about is this fixture. This means more to them than Barcelona. So if he gets beat, obviously, the way football is these days, he's going to have the finger pointed at him.
Yeah, but no, never mind the way football is. Should questions be asked? Because Newcastle are in mid-table. Their season is effectively over. They're not going to make Champions League football next season. They're not winning a trophy. And let me just say this. First of all, there's 2 things, right? He should offer his resignation. Doesn't mean it has to be accepted. If the board think that he's still doing a great job, then fine, keep him in place. And I've got no problem with that. And I actually think Eddie Howe is probably the next England manager. I've got a lot of love for him because he's won a trophy at Newcastle. It's an incredible legacy to have. After all those years without silverware, he's the man who brought a trophy to St James Park. And any wonder the fans love him and don't want to let go of him. I get that emotional side of it. But this is an absolute battering.
But why would you sack the next England manager?
Because sometimes at a club, time has just run out. You've just gone that little bit stale. It's just too much. And let's move on. That's how I feel about it. Maybe he's done all he can at Newcastle. I mean, you look at the midfield. Their midfield 3 when they're fit. Bruno, Tonali, Joelinton. I think it's probably the best midfield 3 in the Premier League. However, Bruno isn't fit. Tonali's gone off injured. I wonder if he's going to be fit for Sunday. Big problem if he isn't. So it's almost threadbare, really, what he's got to work with. So can he really move on with that squad? He had a couple of really big bursts. Maybe he needs a bigger stage to do it with a bigger squad and more ambition. I don't know, but
I can't get away from the fact he's lost his best player, Isaac. 30-odd goals last season, or he's involved in them. If you lose your best centre-forward, it transforms the rest of the team. He's lost him.
Yeah, but Dean, he knew he was losing him for some time. Okay, I think that was pretty clear. They knew that at the back end of last season at least. So mentally, you've got to be able to adjust with it. If he hasn't adjusted to that by now, then he really should resign.
Well, the only way you replace him is if you got 130 million.
Well, they've literally spent virtually that on Voltemada and Visser, mate. And he's left them on the bench.
Well, someone has. Someone spent it.
Well, he started off, didn't he, 9 in 9, Voltemada, and he's dried up. And that's why he's
so,
on the
Eddie,
bench.
just I've got to finish now because I'm looking at the phone lines. Wow. You're saying that he should offer his resignation, and if it's taken, you'd be happy if he became the next manager of England?
I wouldn't have a problem with that. In terms of helping England get towards their goal. I'm trusting Thomas Tuchel right now, and I'm happy to do that. Let's see how he gets on. If that doesn't work out, where do you go to after that? Well, I'd go to somebody who, in a short space of time, turned Newcastle into something competitive, a couple of Champions League seasons and a trophy. If you could bring a trophy to England, I think we'd all love it, apart from you, Alan, and you, Dean. But I think that there's a reality with this, that you've taken a beating. Tactically, you've got it all wrong. And maybe you're right, Dean, that the Isaac thing has got into his head too much and he can't deal with it. He can't cope with that situation. And maybe it's just time for a fresh start. But when you take a beating like that, you have to hold your hands up and say, look, maybe it's down to me and I should move on.
Okay, Adrian, thank you. Thank you. Have a great
Cheers,
weekend.
Ed.
So there'll be time up for Eddie Howe. Well, you can hear his next game as Newcastle manager right here on talkSPORT, Sunday lunchtime against fierce rivals Sunderland, who are looking to do the double of the Geordies for the first time since 2015. And here's the stat for you. The last English team to lose 7-2 in the Champions League was Spurs to Bayern in 2019. Mauricio Pochettino lasted just 7 more games after that. Up next, could Saturday's Carabao Cup final be the last time Pep leads Man City out at Wembley?
Max Dowman is. I see him playing. He goes, where was it? Was it Mansfield you played the other day in the FA Cup?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He makes a run, right, from about 15, 20 yards outside their box. All right, he just glides edge of the box like a slalom. Yeah. The kid is a major talent. So is Ethan Wanyeri, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
At that point, he bought Wanyeri on something like 91 minutes at 3-1 up, I think, or 3-0 up.
Yeah.
It was just to give him his debut, nothing else. And that was the point I was making.
John Terry said that he was he hasn't seen a player dribble like that since Lionel Messi.
Well, I would I'd hold back that sort of credit yet. I think, come on, let the boy be the boy. Let the boy just find his way. Totally different build to Messi.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, you look at the size of him. He looks like, and he's still growing. He looks like he could be. I don't know how tall he is, but he looks like he's going to be 6 foot plus, just by his build, doesn't he? And Messi was. Yeah, I would resist comparing any young player at his age to anyone at the minute. Just let him be Max Dowman.
Yeah,
he'll be Max Dowman.
Yeah,
he's a major talent. He's a major talent.
Fair play to him. They do produce some.
Yeah, they have. Lewis Skelly coming through. And I mean, the thing about Lewis Skelly, he might have to leave.
Yeah.
And Capia, if they sign him permanently in Capia, you got in him. They've got Calafiori. Where's Lewis Skelly going to go?
get it out. This fixture coming up at the weekend, Shola Amiobi always scored against Sunderland.
Yeah.
5 minutes into the game, something like that. Header, great header, Shola, 1-0 up. Corner, Shola, 2-0 up. He's waving at the crowd. He's from Newcastle, isn't he? And the whole stadium was bouncing. That is the most important fixture for all of them.
Right, here we go. Adrian is sticking by. Adrian is still with us, and the phone lines have gone up. And holy smoke over Eddie Howe's future. Adrian, are you ready? You ready, Adrian, to roll back the years and take some calls?
I am, yeah. What a pleasure this is to be with you, Alan, for this. It really is.
This is going to be good. Oh, aye, man. Let's speak to Ray, the Geordie boy. Ray, let's give him
Hi, Ray.
Honestly, I've never heard so much drivel and nonsense. If you can make a living on the radio talking the rubbish I've just listened to for the last 5 minutes, I'm going to have my notice in the day. He's on about Eddie Howe putting his resignation in. He mentioned he didn't get his 2 favourite targets. He didn't get his top 6 targets. Well, the system's rigged against where we cannot spend money. We held our own against Barcelona for a game and a half. Yes, they got the better at the end of one of the best clubs in the world. Eddie Howe should resign. He mentioned Walter and Wissa. What about Alanga and Ramsey that he bought in the same window? You're just talking utter nonsense, pal, and you obviously didn't watch much in Newcastle.
Well, those two that you talk about, they played in the game that you lost 7-2, mate. So, I mean, where are you going with that?
Right, we lost 7-2 to one of the best teams in the world. Right, we're years ahead of where we should be. We shouldn't even be in the Champions League yet. We're building a programme. Your Chelsea's, your Man City spending billions, half a billions, rigging the system, by the way, so they can do what they want with no punishment. If we beat Barcelona, they'd make a new rule that you had to beat them 3 times to qualify.
Yeah, listen, I understand where you're going with the system, and the financial rules, I think, are absolutely shocking, and they do hold clubs back. They're just not fair, but that's the reality of it. So in that system, with those restrictions, you've got 2 players worth well over £100 million on the bench. Was it wise for a manager to just ignore those 2 players, because they might as well have bought a ticket and watched the game?
Right, so he's bought Wissa and he's bought Waldemar, right? Like I say, probably his 5th, 6th, 7th choices. The reason we bought Waldemar, we all accept, right, that was a panic buy. If we'd started the season without Wissa and without Waldemar, we literally wouldn't have had a centre-forward in the club. We wouldn't have had one. So we would have been in a hell of a worse state. So anyhow, this season, semi-final of the Cup, we got beat up a great Man City side that spent billions of pounds, bought a player who he thought would win them the league, but managed to knock us through the Cup, who'd already played against to win the Cup, right? So we are where we are, we know where we are. What was wrong with his tactics in the first half when we scored 2 goals against them and probably given the best game they've had all season?
Great first half.
Well, nothing, but there was a lot wrong with the tactics in the second half. Absolutely. So what you've got to do, when you go out of a competition, you analyse what went wrong. Defensively, Newcastle were a shambles. If you can't see that, Dan Burn going into the centre circle to deal with Yamal. I mean, what is that about? Who told him to do that?
I can see it, but I'm not chasing headlines. Dan Burn, Trippier went off. Massive influence on me, right? He did well not to get sent off. Actually, I thought he would have. So if Trippier goes up, right, biggest leader on the club. The defenders had a mare. Chow struggled. We've played more or less the same 4-5 at the back all season long. 50-odd games. 10 more than them Wallies that were playing at the weekend, right? Our squad's not big enough. We all know that. And when they went ahead, human instinct, heads went down and they had a mare. Them defenders having a nightmare, now to do with Eddie Howe. Nothing to do with Eddie Howe. You're on about he didn't prepare for the game. Hasn't had time to prepare for the game. We've played midweek all season long. He's had 1 or 2 games to analyse tactics or whatever it is to do. But just like you've never been in that changing room. You didn't know what was said in his team talk. You've never give one and you've never taken one. But if you think it was because Eddie
do you think the team talk was good then? That they came out in the second half and you think the team talk was good?
Ray, listen, I've got to go to Barney, pal. And Adrian, Barney's also a Newcastle fan. Barney, good morning.
Morning, Barney.
Morning, chaps. Morning, chaps. Great show as always.
Good man. Right.
I just want to echo what the last chap said. Everything he said is absolutely bang on. What I would like to ask Adrian is, if Howe is to go, who does he think is going to come in and replace him at this stage?
Well, there's plenty of managers around. That's for the people at Newcastle to decide. But The reality is, these people who are calling in will be the same ones who'll be moaning if Newcastle lose on Sunday. So we'll have the same debate on Monday morning on the show. So I don't know where they're coming from. How can you lose 7-2? How can you concede 4 goals in 10 minutes, 3 goals in 10 minutes in a Champions League game and be okay with it?
But you're quite happy to give the guy the sack after one really terrible result, whereas there's
hold on. Let's first of all, let's get things straight here. I've not said sack him. I've said he should offer his resignation, and whether that's accepted or not is up to the board. And they may take some hearing from the fans on that, and they might not want him to go, and they might keep him. Secondly, the fellow before said 5th, 6th, 7th choice, Visser and Voltemade. Well, he's literally making that up. 2nd or 3rd choice, maybe, but 5th, 6th and 7th is absolutely untrue. So let's deal with the truths of this situation. There's a reality as well in team selection, which was down to Eddie Howe. He picked Kieran Trippier. Very risky, given the lack of pace. He had Livramento on the bench, and sure, he's just come back from injury, but maybe start with Livramento might be an idea. And we saw that exposed when Kieran Trippier really should have been sent off for giving away that penalty. So have a look at the decisions Eddie Howe made. Callers calling in saying it's not down to Eddie Howe. Well, what does he do then to earn his money?
Okay, Barney, thank you for your call. Keep them coming. Adrian's hanging about. It's great. Newcastle fans, is there any out there who agree with Adrian or not? I thoroughly enjoyed it for 45 minutes. Adrian said he'll stay for another 20 minutes. Maybe he's not.
By the way, can I just ask Adrian?
What do you mean he's punch drunk? Leave him alone. He's all right.
Adrian, on that subject,
yeah,
how is Trippier's not a red card then?
It should be a red card, I think. I mean, I don't know what anybody else thinks, but I looked at it and thought, well, he's gone. He's not made it a challenge for the ball at all. He's fouled the man. It's a red card. Newcastle got very lucky with that one there. And you know how lucky they got because he dragged him off at half-time, knowing that any further infringement and he'd go.
I'd give up on the rules.
Adrian, I'll let you go. Don't worry. You going for a coffee with who?
Eddie Howe.
Thomas Tuchel. Right, keep them coming. Adrian Durham. Thank you, Adrian. Coming up at 9:30.
few years back, when Jurgen Klopp was in charge, we tried signing Moises Caicedo, a defensive midfielder, because since Fabinho and Henderson have left, we've not signed one.
Yeah.
He turned us down. We tried signing that Southampton young
Lavia as well.
Chelsea. Lavia, yeah.
The same window,
He
I
turned
think.
us down.
Yeah.
A year later, we went for Zubamendi. He turned us down. We've not replaced that kind of player. Slot came in and played Gravenberch in that position. He did well. We won the league because of the other teams falling off as well. But we've not signed that player yet. We let go of centre-halves, Matip and company, and we've got only two...
Company?
Choice. No, Matip and company, you know...
Oh, Matip and Co, other players.
Yeah,
Right.
Matip and Co, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, let go of players like that, and then we've not signed any centre-halves. We're probably the only Premier League club who's got two senior centre-halves on their books.
Do you know what, Sam, as well? Another one, Mark Gahey. I don't know why you didn't get him.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. For £5 million, we spent outrageous money on attacking players, but we not signed a defensive player just for £5 million. How ridiculous is that?
Yeah. But that doesn't explain why you're not scoring goals.
Exactly. Yeah, but there comes Slot's position.
Mm.
Arne Slot.
Hold on.
Let's get cash at the cash point.
Hold on. Sorry, are you working behind the tills at like Tesco's or something?
Yes, I am.
While you're talking to us?
because I'm listening to you as well.
That's unbelievable.
It's not often you associate fan power with Chelsea Football Club, but one of the shining examples of it lies with a group called the Chelsea Pitch Owners. And they've proved to be the thorn in the side of owners past and present who've been dead set on moving stadiums to a larger, more lucrative piece of land. Essentially, the supporters group holds the freehold to the land on which Stamford Bridge sits. Former owner Ken Bates set it up at a time where some unruly property developers tried to evict the club from their ground. In order to prevent this, he established the CPO as a company that owned the pitch and offered the fans the chance to buy a share for £100. As well as that, they also own the rights to the name Chelsea Football Club, so if any owner wants to take them elsewhere, they can't be called Chelsea without the approval from the CPO. Now, in 2011, Roman Abramovich tried and failed to move them away from Stamford Bridge, and this has set a precedent for Todd Bowley and the current power brokers at Chelsea. They know any plan which involves moving from Stamford Bridge will require CPO approval from the now 13,000 fans who own it. There are fans who are concerned that if they stay at the bridge, they'll be left behind their domestic and European rivals who are moving to more commercially successful stadiums. But for the heritage and history lovers, Stamford Bridge is one of the iconic English stadiums, and to move away would be a grave mistake. It might not be as flashy as others, but stadiums like it have something about them that cannot be replaced. One thing's for sure, if Bowley wants to take Chelsea away from their home, he'll have to go through the CPO first.
You've no time to listen to us. Concentrate on what you're good at. Aye. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark's rewards event. Get £500 off your next car this week only. Dino alongside me right now. It's time to turn our attention to boxing. All thanks to our friends at DAZN.
Boxing update on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Sign up now at dazn.com/boxing.
So, Saturday night is fight night on DAZN. There's some huge fights coming up over the next few weeks. This weekend, live from London, George Liddard, the Billericay bomber, takes on Tyler Denny for the British and Commonwealth titles. That's not our Denny, is it?
Don't think so. Denny's, he's at it though. He's in the gym boxing, Denny.
Yeah, he keeps getting a pasting, doesn't he?
Does he?
Oh, God, yeah. He's
builds your character.
Him, you need to find 6 inches.
If it doesn't kill him, it makes you stronger.
Does it? Then March 28th, the spotlight shifts to the future heavyweight champions of the world. Now we're talking. Moses Atuma taking on Jermaine Franklin. Franklin previously went 12 rounds with AJ and has never been knocked out. And then April 4, an icon will fall as Derek Chisora collides with a bronze bomber, Deontay Wilder, in both fighters' 50th fights. What about that? I thought I'm surprised Wilder's had 50. Now, the last time we had Deontay in the talkSPORT Towers, he scared off one of our presenters.
It sounds to me, given the character that you are, that's like a little bit flaky. You lost those fights, and those fights were lost. And you saying that someone like Fury cheated you in those fights, I think is kind of disappointing to me.
You can say
about
what you
because
want. I know the truth. I have the facts.
Okay.
Understand that. Because when the documentary and everything that started coming out, I'm going to show every thing.
Fantastic.
I'm going to get all the people that know
you think
and
I'm a
all the
Fury
people
fan?
that's in the inside. He got people that the inside of him.
I'm a Fury
that
fan?
know. I don't, what?
No,
I don't give a about that.
I'm not a Fury
I don't
fan.
give a about it. I said we didn't want to bring him up in the first place. It ain't got to do with him.
Fair enough.
Interesting.
Simon said to him, the consequences of your actions, Deontay, you'll end up in prison if you carry on the way you're going.
Simon will be jousting with another of his nemesis today as Lord Jordan, Jim White, and Spencer Oliver. Spencer gives Denny a pacing. Yeah, he's met his spar with him. Nah, he sorts him out. I'm joined after midday by Matchroom CEO Frank Smith. Sign up to DAZN Ultimate now and get access to every punch, every knockout, every moment. Now, on to Villa Park, where Unai Emery's side turn the focus back to the Europa League as they face Lille. Villa, surely they've got to beat Lille. Villa came into this one on the back of 3 straight Premier League defeats, including damaging losses to Champions League chasing rivals Chelsea and Manchester United. However, they do hold the cards tonight. Ollie Watkins' clinical header was the difference in France, giving Villa a vital 1-0 lead to protect. So every chance this should be good enough. Join us now. Former Villa captain and 10-time major trophy winner with the glorious Celtic, Stilian Petrov joins us. Stilian, morning.
Morning, Stilian.
Morning, guys. Great to see you. Alan, this is very negative from you, the way you describe Villa. You know, it's been an excellent season.
Oh, no, they've been struggling lately, Stilian. Come on.
Dino, it's great to see you. Actually, last time I drove you down from Scotland, you wore the same outfit. Must be your favourite outfit, buddy. Bloody hell.
Right, on to the football, Stilian.
What were you doing in Scotland?
I was playing at John Hartson's testimonial.
All right.
Oh.
You know, it's for testicular cancer. So,
all right.
Great. Stilian, Villa, at one point we were saying, surely they can't win the league. And since that moment they lost that game, the punch on the chin looks like it's affected them a little bit. But I think this game's massive for Villa tonight, so they don't want the season to fizzle out. Where do you see it?
It's a great opportunity. I think Villa, Unai Emery's side, has excelled really well in this season's Europa League. They've played really well. It seems like every time they play a European game, they feel quite comfortable. I know that the league form and the result haven't been the best, but the Villa are still in a great position. I mean, Unai Emery had to deal with so many little things around the club, the financial fair play, Monchi leaving the club, who's his right hand. He done incredible well for the club. He brought some excellent players into the club, and the club it's about being consistent in European football, and it seems like Unai Emery has found the formula for that.
It's got to be. It's an interest. I'd like to see Villa put in a sparkling performance. I just feel Ollie's in a bit off, and Rodgers, he's been off lately, hasn't he?
But Ollie Watkins, Stilian, if you pick him, you know what you're going to get. Even if he don't score, he puts 90 minutes effort in, and he runs forward without the ball. So I like him. I know he's not been as prolific as he'd like to be, but I like him. I don't know about you.
I love Ollie Watkins. I think he's the best striker at Villa. He's the first choice. He should be the first choice. We're picking individuals, Morgan Rodgers, Ollie Watkins, and it's normal because that's the game changes. But it seems like the team is not been performing well as a collective, and this is something that needs to be looked at. Key players has been missing: McGinn, Tielemans, Kamara. Everything for Villa goes through the middle. Unai Emery is based on moving the teams around and creating by using the midfielders. The 3 key midfielders, he's been missing, and he's definitely affected the performances. I mean, it's you've been a manager, you've been a player as well. It's really difficult to find a balance and to find the players that can accommodate, especially in a midfielder. And Unai Emery has managed to do that. But this has been missing from Aston Villa in the last couple of weeks.
Still, why does Gabby think Emery may not be at Villa Park next season? What's he heard?
Just Gabby. Gabby's Gabby, Alan. You know him very well. No, I see where he's coming from. I believe that if Villa are not if they don't qualify for the European football, will be difficult for the club to to keep Unai Emery, and that's normal. He has done an incredible job at Aston Villa. I'm sure that a lot of clubs are looking Unai Emery as a potential replacement for some of their managers because he's really good. He's class. And I had the opportunity to watch a couple sessions, to be around the club, and he's really amazing. And I'm not surprised. And the European football for the next season will be key for Unai Emery.
And I think he's got to have conversations with the owners to say, right, where are we financially? What players can we sign? And then he's got to have a conversation with Morgan Rogers and convince him that you're going to sign players to try and win the league, to try and win trophies, to try and succeed in Europe. It's going to be difficult. And I mean, I don't know, you know more about it than us. How his hands are tied behind his back, aren't they? Financially.
It is definitely his hands are tied, and he's definitely sees that. He seems like in the press, he's very calm, he's very relaxed. He understands his teams, but sometimes good managers stays in clubs where they've been given the power and the support, and it seems like Villa owners, the players and the fans are giving the full backing on Unai Emery, and this is a luxury that not many managers can have in certain clubs.
Yeah. Stilling, did you get a chance to see Newcastle last night in Barcelona? I thought it was a great first half.
I did. It was a great first half, but unfortunately, the game of football is not only 45 minutes. Barcelona just took the game to another gear. You can see how powerful Barcelona is, and when they start playing, when the games flow, they're really unstoppable. And Newcastle had to face that in the second 45 minutes, and it was really painful. It was really painful to watch because I have a lot of respect for Eddie Howe and the Newcastle team, but unfortunately, in that level, you get punished if you don't produce performances.
Yeah. Quick one, Stilling. Well, not a quick one. Sunday, Celtic go to Dundee United, Tannadice. Rangers at home, Aberdeen. Hearts at home to Dundee. It's fascinating how this is going to finish up.
It's really exciting up in Scotland. I don't think it's been excited as this season. And I think the Scottish football has missed that, has missed the thrill. Usually Celtic win the league by February in the last couple of years, and it's been boring. So at the moment, it's actually exciting to watch. Any one of those three teams have the opportunity to win the league, but I'm still going to pick Celtic. I think they're in a good position, even going through difficult periods through the season with the changing of the managers, the fans, the board, the question around the club altogether. I think they've got a great opportunity, and they've put themselves in a great position to win the league.
Yeah.
Stillian,
Yes.
I was telling someone, he tells a brilliant story. He was Celtic, 2 games to go. They had to win at home, and Bobo Baldé made 2 mistakes. And Stillian tells this story. So Neil Lennon's hammered him for half an hour, and Stillian doesn't realise. So he comes in the dressing room, and then he starts on Bobo Baldé, who's about 6'8".
I know.
And he said, Stan, sit down and shut up. So I can picture it.
I mean,
he got you by the throat, didn't he?
He did. He lifted me off the ground as well. I'm not joking, Alan. At that point, I was looking
for a big lump. Yeah.
Listen, at that point, I don't know if you're gonna sound, but I was looking for a scissors. I was going for a kill. That was me. I mean, honestly, you don't mess up with Bobo Baldé. But that was normal in that kind of environment in the team that Matt O'Neill built at Celtic. We hated losing games. We hated losing leagues. We hated losing training sessions. And that's normal. But that's what makes a strong team, a strong dressing room. And we've managed to win so many things all together.
Yeah. Still another great weekend of football. Thank you very much. Talk later.
Great to see you guys.
Keep
see
well.
You later. Bye-bye.
Stilling Petrov there. Right, don't forget you can listen to Villa versus Leo live on talkSPORT tonight from 8. Up next, we'll hopefully speak to a Sunderland fan who's not best pleased to a previous caller who labelled the Mackhams Wallies. 03717 22 33 Sunderland fans, the lines are open.
much? When do we hear about City and 115? Is there any correlation here?
Well, the overlap, I think, is only to the extent as to the treatment of this sort of conduct has not been treated as severely as PSR. So in a theoretical scenario where City are found to have breached some of the rules, but ultimately, like Chelsea, that wouldn't have impacted on its PSR position, this agreement suggests that, save for the fact that there was cooperation here and early admission, save for that fact, that maybe it's not even a points deduction for something as extreme as that. Maybe. So I think this is generally positive for City in terms of its leniency, but I wouldn't read too much into it because, of course, this is a sanction agreement. As to when it's coming, I mean, clearly we are now way over the expectations of all the parties. The last information I had is they have no idea when it's coming. I think we are back in the realms when international breaks are more likely than other times, but who knows?
And one international break's about to come up.
But for City, you must be in the same space.
Yeah.
If you are, because part of the allegation against City is fraud. So if indeed you are found to be guilty, because at this moment in time City aren't found guilty of anything, if you're found to be guilty, how do you then take up the table of sanctions and say, well, actually, it's a points or removal of credit and whatever else you had in the past because you've just allowed Chelsea to admit.
I think what they would say is, in the City case, you will struggle to get any of those lines of mitigation.
No, fine.
That are there in the
But
Chelsea
does
case.
mitigation
So it'll all be
But
aggravation.
does mitigation remove points then?
Okay, 8 minutes to 10 o'clock. talkSPORT Breakfast. Alan Brazil, Dean Saunders. Right. The latest episode of How to Win the World Cup is now live. Matt Ford and Jacob Hawley speak to one of the football's leading psychologists, Dan Abrahams. I wonder if he knows the moose. All about the mindset of an elite-level footballer. Here's Dan explaining why Premier League clubs are often miserable environments due to the overwhelming pressure on everyone at a football club.
Are today's footballers like the crazy gang of 1980s? I don't know if there's as much space for that. I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but it is a little bit more. It's quite intense in these environments. I've worked at 6 Premier League clubs, and it is quite intense in there. And they're not the most fun environments. You know, they're quite miserable environments at times because players are jostling for position. There's absolutely it's the balance between cooperation and competition, and that's one of the dynamics in there. They all want to play in the team, but they've also got to all cooperate, and that's the tough job of the head coach, is to find that sweet spot spot between competition and cooperation.
Oh, dangerous.
I'm trying to keep my mouth shut here.
Well, I'll help you out. I try and keep an open mind on most things. I try to, right? But you got to be very careful, because when you coach a player, so they're all different characters. Some need a pat on the back. Some need a rocking, telling off, right? And some get too big for their boots. And no matter how well they play, you have to say to them, "You didn't do that well. Get your feet on the ground." You don't mean it, but you're actually. If you've got a sports psychologist sitting in a room with them who's got confidentiality agreements that they can't reveal anything that they've said, and they might be helping them with their private life or whatever, saying little things, they're able to get things off the chest. The problem is, if he's telling that player to only think of positive things, positive thoughts, you're beating the fullback, you can see the ball going in, it's getting crossed right where you aimed it, you're getting on the end of crosses, picture it in your head. Picture it, only think of positive thoughts. And then I think he's getting carried away with himself. And I start saying, any chance you running back? Any chance you getting back? Any chance you winning a header? Any chance you getting a foot in? We're contradicting each other. You know what I mean? So you've got to be really careful. But he can't tell you, because of confidentiality, what he said to him.
Right. Well, let me go on the other foot. By the way, I'm with you, but let me go on the other foot. Why does people like top golfers, top snooker players, top tennis players, why do they all use sports psychologists?
I don't know. My psychologist was the manager. My manager, whoever was in charge of me, because my job was to score goals. I'm talking about myself, thinking back. My job was to score goals. I was in a crisis if I hadn't scored for 8 games every year. Couldn't get out of bed in the morning. Shocking. The manager would just come up to me and say, keep doing what you're doing and the goals will come. Or you're running out of the box, not running in the box. And he'd tell you why you weren't scoring. He was a psychologist, the manager. Whether he was lying to me or not, just to make me feel better, I don't know. But I couldn't have someone who's never scored a goal in their life tell me what I'm doing wrong. I couldn't. Would Nick Faldo, when he was on the fairway, you remember in the US Open, and he left himself 110 yards to the flag, he should have hit a 3-wood to par 5, and he decided to leave 110 yards or whatever it was, and he hit a wedge stiff and birdied the last hole. If somebody who's never played golf jumps over the fence and says, "Nick, you're hitting the wrong club," but if Jack Nicklaus jumped over, he might listen to him. You know what I mean? So I know I'm going to get pelters for it, but it's the modern day thing.
But see, I think our makeup in our heads, we're all different, Dino. Some are strong characters, some are not. The ones that are not, maybe they need a little bit of coaxing, a little bit of persuading where they're going wrong. Why do you try that? Listen, when you were doing well, you were hitting the back of net. Have a look at this. Used to make runs there. I've been watching your last 10 games. You're not making them run. You know, maybe sometimes you need to just coax people into going back to good ways.
Yeah.
But don't get too deep in the mind.
And by the way, you're allowed to be fed up. Whatever happened to that? I'm fed up. Yeah, you're supposed to be fed up. There's more.
Well, that's what
there's more downs than ups in football.
That's what makes life so good. When you're doing well, when you're up, you think, and you're looking forward to a holiday, looking forward to a game of golf. It's great.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Don't complicate things.
Yeah, exactly. Look at Galatasaray players on the way home today. Devastated. They haven't lost a game in their league.
Yeah.
Slap in the face.
Get
up off
today,
the floor.
Ed, watch out for wabbits, okay? Right? Think positive.
Things going to help you with that one.
Right, thank you very much. I've enjoyed today. I'm back tomorrow. Well, hopefully back tomorrow morning alongside Ray Party Pal. Up next, Jim White and Simon Jordan.
Manchester United legend Nicky Butt has recently come out saying the club must give Bruno Fernandes anything he wants, is the quote, in order to keep him there amid continued links to Saudi Arabia. Fernandes, for me, Gabby, has been absolutely tremendous. He's now just 4 assists off the Premier League record and continues to prove just how important he is to that Manchester United side. He has, mate, you can say what you like, and myself and a few others, I wasn't necessarily happy with him with some of the throwing the hands up and all that stuff. You know, it's probably maybe a more European thing or a foreign thing that they do. And there was things like that you know, would probably annoy me a little bit if I was a teammate of his. However, by far and away, the most important thing is his ability on the pitch and how he's handled it. And I think he's been, if not the one constant in Manchester United,
100%.
You know, he's been tremendous, mate, hasn't he?
And I'm scared to think where Manchester United would have been over the last 5 years, and especially this season, without Bruno Fernandes. 27 Premier League appearances, Ali, 7 goals, 16 assists.
Wow.
No matter how bad they've been, he's turned